Jigs and friggin' Bigs. We got another great show lined up for you guys. So much great feedback coming back from last week's show. The introduction to some new segments. We had a great time doing it. You guys clearly were into it and definitely struck a couple of chords with folks. So that's a great thing. This week we got some good stuff coming up. We got a little bit of an announcement with our friends with Hookset Hoodlums. That's coming up a little bit later in the show. We got Ethan Dhuyvetter. You might know him from the FishAnything YouTube channel, but he's also the guy behind Mule Fishing, an ultralight fishing brand that's really making waves out there in the fishing community, both in the BFS and in the standard ultralight sort of corner. And we get into it with him pretty good. We have a great conversation. That's coming up on our next segment. I got Who the Fuck is Joe Brown in the house with us. We've got more fishing headlines for you. We're going to talk about week number 1. We're just about complete on week number 1 for the Scavenger Hunt Series. All kinds of good stuff that we got to talk about. You don't want to miss it, folks. More good stuff coming up, Jigs and Bigs, after this. Don't go too far. We got a whole lot of good stuff coming up for you. Yeah, baby. We got jig heads all over the place. We got Pat Martin with us. We've got Cheryl Bentley with us. We've got John Hagens in the house, Tim Behan. Majority of you guys are in the scavenger hunt. We're going to talk about that in a bit, man. Week number 1 just kicked off. Joe, how are you doing, bud?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, that weather's going to warm up this week, it looks like. It's no more Arctic fishing, hopefully. My boat was real sad looking in the driveway the last few days with all the snow and shit. I believe it.
How much snow did you guys actually end up getting?
Man, so we didn't get that much snow, but maybe like 2 inches. But it was the fucking like icy sleet shit that's fucked everything up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But yeah, she just looked real upsetty spaghetti out there.
It's funny, man. I had this week, I looked at the weather and I was like, I had some plans kind of laid out for Monday, which went, fine. And right. I wanted to get ahead of this, ahead of the front that was coming in. And I'll tell you what, dude, like between obviously the snow, but like north of us, they got hammered. We got
like a foot of snow.
Yeah. Some of them over, like I think in Maine, they were like 14 inches. And, granted, it was just insane. Like I've got a buddy of mine who was like, they lost power, like all kinds of shit. And it's the worst time of year for that kind of shit to happen.
Yep.
I tried to get out ahead of that front. But I'll tell you, dude, all that rain, it's just keeping that water so cold. And I felt that today. I didn't fall in the water, but trying to fish, like even Saturday and today between those days, because I got out 4 times this week.
Right.
And it was a grind, dude. It was just a freaking grind. And this time of year, like we'll get those in the forecast where it'll say like, oh yeah, you're supposed to get X amount of inches of snow. And I'm a huge naysayer. I'm like, that's going to change. Wait till we get there. And it did a little bit. We didn't get as much, but like my youngest daughter, she had school canceled on Thursday. And then my wife actually stayed home on Thursday. She wasn't feeling well, and this is what kind of sucks about this week. So you know how like the past couple of months I've been saying I'm stoked to go to New Orleans. We're gonna go and my wife and I are celebrating our anniversary.
Yeah. Yep.
Scrapping the trip.
Oh no.
Yeah, we're scrapping the trip this year. My wife is not feeling well at all. In fact, yesterday, she went to the ER and was there for like something like 9 hours waiting, and they pretty much couldn't tell her a goddamn thing. So she's going to follow up with her doctor on Tuesday and get in there as soon as possible. But I'm like, you've got to be shitting me. So I reached out to Largemouth Sass and I was like, hey, bad news. We're not going to be down there. But the good news is, if there is a good side to this, is that I will be up in familiar waters fishing for this entire month. Down there, who knows what I could catch? You know what I mean? And realistically, I'd probably just catch a bunch of bass, which, great. I already have a bass in there, but for the tournament, this puts me in a better situation because I know the waters and I can kind of do some stuff. So, I mean, I suppose if there is a bright side of this, it sucks. It really, really does. So we kind of backburnered that. Like we have a credit on our airfare that we're just gonna, apply to when we go. And we're not summer Louisiana people.
Right.
Fuck that. If anything, we're gonna go in like February. Something like that. We'll just go when she's got that week off.
That's a good time of the year to go. Now, when were you supposed to leave?
We were going to leave tax day, the 15th.
Yeah. Yep.
That was the plan.
Okay.
We were going to leave and we are going to be gone for that whole week. And unfortunately, it just didn't work out. So we're, it's no big. I may even be able to squeeze like a camp trip in there. The other good thing is too, like I can also continue to work, put some of that stuff down. We got John Hagens and Cheryl Bentley talking weather up here. Cheryl chimes in. She goes, got a foot of snow. She's up in New Hampshire. No power. Oh, Cheryl, that sucks. I'm sorry. Wind, sleet, really a mess. It was. And, there's a lot of folks that weren't getting cleared out on the streets because they're just like, we kind of packed all that shit away. We don't want to spend any more money on salt or anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's tough. It's crazy. And then John Hagens chimes in. He goes, weather shut me down for a few days. Had a major flooding followed by a blast of cold. Waters are finally receding. Have lots of chalky milk. So fishing has been tough. I believe that. And then he says exactly the trend that's going to happen here. He's back up into the 70s tomorrow. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Cheryl chimes in for New Orleans. She goes, Mardi Gras or Jazz Fest is just such a good time. I would love to go to Jazz Fest specifically. Mardi Gras, probably not, very little interest to me. Like I work in bars every night of the week. My wife and I have very low tolerance for what we call amateurs. Mardi Gras is amateur hour, like 100%. It's fucking amateur hour, and I have no patience for that. But Jazz Fest, I would be down for. There's a lot of shit though down there. Actually, I don't know if do you listen to Cut and Retie, Joe? Joe Somali's podcast.
No.
Joe had a guy on from New Orleans recently, and I believe the name of his place is the Bourgeois Lounge, or the Bourgeois Lodge rather, and he has a guide operation out of there that just sounds absolutely awesome. And I'm thinking that maybe that might be the move. For like redfish, that could just be awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, something like that would be cool. And I even told my wife, I was like, if I do something like that, I'm going to drag you down there because then you and I will do all the nightlife shit and everything else.
Right.
I do have big plans for Jigs and Bigs in terms of what we can do with guides, because I feel like that's often way overlooked, as far as you want to have a great experience and travel and do something outside of your normal routine of fishing. I think guides are the way to do it. So I would like to see us include more guide information if possible. But man, good stuff. It's been a crazy week, dude. Let's talk about last week's episode for a minute.
Let's do it.
It was a great show, right? I felt amazing.
No, I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I think we're really on the right track.
Yeah,
with the show.
It's fucking perfect.
I had fun researching the news stuff, learning more, learning new shit, personally. And dude, I'm stoked. I'm stoked.
I'm glad you brought up the news segment because we got some feedback about the news segment.
Okay.
Roadkill Nick. You met Roadkill Nick at the Columbus show,
I did.
Right? Yeah, Roadkill Nick,
Columbus,
great dude. He's been listening to the show since the inception, and he's been such an active, he's one of the jig heads who's most in contact with us. Like, he's great. He's absolutely great. Roadkill Nick gave a little bit of follow-up information because he's not very far from where that record carp was.
Okay.
He's right in that area. And apparently, Roadkill Nick says that a hay hook is not a weird fucking fishing accessory. He's like, for that area, he goes, it is not a weird fishing accessory to carry with you. I'm like, really?
I gotta look up what a hay hook even is.
If I'm not mistaken, I think what it is like one of these hooks that you would use to grab a bale of hay and
it's a serial killer hook.
Yeah. It kind of is a serial killer hook.
It is. That's like the shit you see in fucking movies.
And I almost think that they must use it for
Oh, that's a bad one. This one's a little better.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Oh, Jesus Christ. That's got I know what you did last summer all over it. God.
I guess it's just kind of like a multi-purpose gaff, if you think about it.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And like, you see this in saltwater fishing all the time. When, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. You're like, you grab the fish and you just yank them up that way. So, I mean, maybe depending on what kind of fishing you're doing in that situation, that might be what's going on. But yeah, it was cool that we did that story. We got some more feedback that came in.
That's awesome.
I also want to share that the whole hashtag FBD, fish boat docks, totally went over my head that it could potentially be fuckboy ducket. Totally went over my head.
I said it.
No, you did. You did. For me, it was an educational. Okay. Oh, yeah, man. It was.
I got you.
It was nuts. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
I could see that making some waves and pissing some people off, but yeah.
And then I think you saw the reel I put up on Instagram.
Mm-hmm. Once that's everything made sense right there. I was like, okay.
Yep.
It's just bananas. And then on springboarding off of like stuff from last week's show that went really good. I have an update from Janelle about her kayak woes. We talked about Janelle's situation with eco fishing and with her Van Hunks kayak that she had purchased and it being damaged and everything. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if somebody over there listens to the show or anything like that, but a bunch of things had gone down. We put the show out, and then Janelle left a review on the website, and it was just basically like a review explaining her situation. She got a phone call, I think, on Monday or Tuesday. Mm-hmm. No, it was either Tuesday or Wednesday. It was after, I had fished on Monday. So it was Tuesday or Wednesday. And she got a phone call from one of the people that she had been speaking with beforehand. And apparently there's multiple stores, retail stores for eco fishing. And they're like, look, here's the deal. Can you get to this location of our store? And it's a mission. It's down south. And she, what day could you do that? And she's like, well, I could come down and do this. And they're like, we're going to do an exchange for the same one. That way you'll get it and it'll all be good. And then she goes, actually, and this is where I feel like we may have had some influence. Okay. She goes, is it possible I can return this and then pay the difference on a better boat? And she is the new owner of a Sportsman PDL 106.
Awesome.
They don't have it in stock, but she's like, they said, let's do this, get it all set up. And when it arrives, it'll already be sold to you.
Perfect.
So, she's going to be going down. I think next week is the plan. Her and Soraya are going to take a ride down and get this boat. She'll be all set. And I told her, I was like, my feedback was, so don't worry about getting it home and like rigging it up or anything. I was like, literally get it home and go fishing. Just go fishing.
Yeah.
Let the process tell you how you're going to rig it and everything. And she's like, yeah, I think that's probably the way to go. So I'm stoked for her. I'm glad she's not getting hosed on this whole situation from eco fishing. After, hearing from Todd about his situation and having to wait 9 months and, all his kind of shit. I'm glad they did it the right way. So, hey, good on them, They did it the right way. She's getting a quality boat for the amount that she fishes. She needs that boat. That makes sense.
We're changing the world one angler at a time.
You know what? We really are. We really, really are. There's a moment in the segment I just recorded with Ken and Andrew from Hookset Hoodlums. And, before I actually mention this, I do want to say, Wild Bill Fishing had released some information about how he's stepping back from Hookset Hoodlums. And again, there's zero drama with that at all. Like, it is still family and everything's cool. It's just Bill is working on his career. He's got some shit going on that he's working out. And like, I get it. Like, if he, if anything, I respect him for being like, hey, I can't be what you need me to be right now. Let's, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I respect that. I think that that's awesome. So, but we have a conversation. There's a moment where I told the guys, I was like, because they get us. They've known us for the entire length of this show forever. Yeah. And they're like, I was like, so we started a new segment. And I go, it's a segment where we give financial advice. The explosion in laughter that came from these two motherfuckers was just second to none. It was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful. Dude. So, Yeah, I mean, the show was really great. I will say also, not only was last week's episode getting a bunch of listens, but the episode the week before where we had Powerbait Paul on just skyrocketed. Yeah. Like, people have been catching up with that. So, like, thank you to you guys that have been listening. Appreciate all of you guys. Anybody who's new that's listening and just kind of discovered the show, by all means, please leave us a rating or a review on whatever platform you're listening to. Obviously, like Apple Podcasts has the corner on the algorithm, I suppose, or something. So, like, leave us, a review, whatever, constructive criticism, a shout out, whatever. We would love to hear from you guys that way. If you guys have any questions or anything, we're always available via DM on any of our social media platforms, be it TikTok or Instagram, Facebook. You can also shoot us an email at jigsandbigs413@gmail.com. And at jigsandbigs.com, you've got all kinds of stuff at your reach to do a bunch with. Like, you can check out information on our tournament series. You can even listen to the podcast right at jigsandbigs.com, really. You also can shop for Jigs and Bigs merch if you like, so if you want to get into that Ditch Pickle Tickler t-shirt or that Jigs and Bigs logo shirt that says the fishing podcast your wife will love, yeah, that's a good one. You should definitely check that out. Let's go ahead and do the breakdown of weeks. My week was a blast. It was a blast. If we go back to last Sunday when we were recording the show, you may have mentioned, you may remember that I had said that, oh yeah, Fishing with Becca had messaged me and she's like, yeah, I'm doing this thing and the tournament's kicking off. Let's fish on Monday and then I'll camp in your neighborhood. And I was like, all right, cool. The camping situation did not go as planned. Sky had some tests that they were waiting on results from. Results came in. They weren't great. She had to go back and handle some meds and stuff for Sky. Sky is doing great right now. But this is a process. When you have a dog that's Sky's age, with cancer, there's a lot of shit. So we rescheduled some plans that we were making. And we're talking maybe about doing a send up to A-Bay. That should be really good. And I talked to Chris earlier this week too, just to kind of check in. So we're throwing around that kind of an idea. But she came out to fish, regardless, while she was waiting on these tests. And this was, we had a blast, man. We had an absolute blast. Fished 2 spots. I brought her to 2 of my regular locations. Not really like top secret. They get hammered. There's a lot of pressure at these spots. And she shows up and we go out and we're just going at it. I'm, again, the BFS ninja here, I'm just whipping around little micro jigs. I caught the biggest. So actually, let me go through my notes because I got some good notes here. I actually, on that outing, at the first spot that we had gone to, I caught what was it? Actually, let me look it up right here because I'll know. My largemouth came in at what, like 14 inches? It was a big one. It was a nice fish. So that was a point. And then I was just on a dink fest, just like dink, 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 dink all over the place. Becca got a largemouth, submitted that, which is kind of cool because she's like, I've never done anything like this. Like, how do I enter the fish? So I was like, this is how you measure it and everything. We got her all set up with her identifier and everything, and it was all good. She entered her fish there. We decided, the bite kind of just slowed a little bit. And I'm like, look, all we're catching here are dinks, or our bass, I should say. We both have a point. But if we can, collect more inches, then cool, that's awesome. But I go, let's change spots to a place that's a little bit more diverse for species. And we hit up another spot. Now, this spot, I have caught trout of various species. I've caught bass. I've caught rock bass. I've caught bowfin. I've caught pickerel. I've caught perch. I've caught bluegill, all kinds of different stuff. And crappie. And we get there, and there were some trout fishermen there just killing it, absolutely killing it. So we're fishing this one area, and I called it, not intentionally, but I was like, yeah, I've had a run recently where folks have told me there's a lot of crappie here. No shit, that next cast, I put a crappie on the board. Beautiful. Couldn't upsize it all. It was a decent-sized crappie, but couldn't upsize anything beyond it while I was there. I caught 2 others, which was cool. Becca had a nice brown trout shake off. which would have been great had she been able to get that. And then we called it. We just went to go grab some lunch, had a good time. I think she's really amped up about this tournament series, and this could be a whole lot of fun, and it's just kind of keeps you guessing. So we go, we part ways. This is when she had got that call about these test results and everything. So that was Monday. I go and I do my event, and it was really kind of nice because I very rarely get out and fish on Mondays. Usually I chalk up Monday to editing and getting stuff prepped for work, but I was able to be so efficient about getting everything done first thing in the morning that I was able to meet her for about 10 o'clock. I had the rest of the day going. It was great. So I'm going to try and do something else this tomorrow, actually, because I think schedule-wise it'll work out very, very nice. I'm going to try to replicate the same thing. So that brings us to Tuesday. Tuesday was a day where I kind of thought I really kind of had very little expectations for going out on Tuesday, but I looked at the weather and the forecast is what made me think I really should jump on this. And I'm like, Wednesday is when the front's going to start, and that's going to be an issue. Let's get ahead of it. So I did all the running around and stuff I had to do on Tuesday. I actually had to go out and get some parts for the winch I'm putting on my kayak trailer. Which unfortunately the parts that I picked up, it's not going to work. I'm going to have to do some drilling, I think, in the tongue of this thing. C'est la vie. It is what it is. We'll figure it all out. So I'm going to go ahead and do all that. So after I was done with all those errands, I said, I'm going to take a ride and head out to Browntown and see what I can put together. And I caught a brown trout. I was there for about a total of 45 minutes. It was pretty good. I'm like, this is good. Got one on the board because browns are another one of those species. It's like crappie. All I can do is go and fish where they are. Like I've got no real understanding of how to target that species, other than just going to that body of water. So the fact that I've got a brown and a crappie on, I feel pretty good about. There's still a couple other species that I'm going after. Now, I didn't get out for the rest of the week. Wednesday, the weather started, and I said, screw that. I'm not doing any of this. I then, on Thursday was the day where it was real bad. That's where the snow was coming down and the sleet and everything. So stayed in. Friday, I had a different sort of adventure. My buddy and I, you guys may know him as Chickapee Chet on the show. My buddy and I, he had tickets to go see A Perfect Circle, Primus, and Pussifer. Now, this show is interesting because Maynard James Keenan, the frontman for A Perfect Circle and for Pussifer and also for Tool, he is turning 60 next week. Which is freaking insane to think he's 60 years old. I don't think of, but I mean, none of us are getting any younger, so it is what it is. So he put together this tour, and this was unlike any other kind of rock show I had ever seen. Everything was set up on stage at one spot, and it was just a rotating cast of players. And it would be, Primus would do a few songs, and A Perfect Circle would come on and do a few songs, and Pussifer would do a few songs. I was least familiar with Pussifer. I was most amazed with Pussifer. Holy shit, great stuff. Great stuff. Primus just blew me away, obviously. And this is my first time ever seeing A Perfect Circle. They were great. And I was stoked because I got to see them with their original drummer, who is Josh Freese from, he played in the Vandals and Devo, a bunch of other bands, did a bunch of session stuff. He's the man. And these, specifically, these bands, they don't have, take Maynard out of two of them, they don't have a lot in common other than the fact that they're a little bit, creative or unique, in what you got to see it was a 3-hour long show, and it did not feel like 3 hours. It didn't drag at all. There was no waiting. It was a 10-minute intermission in between, but they played video of Maynard in a wheelchair. He was in some fucking home with oxygen and shit like that, and he's telling jokes. It was just ridiculous. It was so freaking good. I had a blast. So my buddy and I told him I had plans to fish Saturday morning with Paul, and I said, hey, if you're interested, you want to join us, go for it. I'm trying to get him into fishing so much, and I think it's the getting up early. He's not really into that, which is okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's not for everybody. So he and I, we got back into town. I think it was like 1 a.m. and I went to bed, got up bright and early. And, I say bright and early. I got up at like 8, kind of slept in a little bit, but I wanted it to warm up because it was pretty cold that night. So I go out Saturday morning and I fished at a spot that's super pressured in this area, but it's a river system with a really diverse amount of species. And when I catch them there, I seem to catch pretty good size too. So like you might catch, a yellow perch, but it's going to be a big one. You know what I mean? And there's just a bunch of stuff. There's smallmouth in there. So I told my buddy, I said, let's just go do a banks in there. Caught my PB largemouth at this spot too. So there's bigs. And I'm like, let's go ahead and go for it. Now, the water level has been insane. And this place here, there's a hike. Like you're going for a little bit before you can get to anything that's really fishable. And the path that we took goes pretty close to the water in some spots. And there's one area, there's a little creek that kind of runs through, like a real small stream to connect to this one section of the pond. And in the past, there's like roots that are growing like right nearby and rocks and stuff. And people have like made makeshift bridges so you can get across. In fact, it gets so much traffic that there's on either side of this little bridge, there's generally like a pile of like sticks for balance. So you can like grab one and go across and whatever. Somebody put in some work over here, dude. Have you ever seen one of these setups where like somebody will cut pieces of wood that are probably about 2.5 feet wide long? And they'll just basically line them up and make a dam, and then and they put like a bunch of pine needles and leaves and stuff to just kind of fill it out with mud. And there's a section where the original bridge is still there, but it's just so flooded, it's just crazy. It was a little dicey, but we made it. Nobody took a bath. It was good. My buddy and I go, and I posted some video from this because I knew I was going to record this one little piece of video because I text Paul before I leave the house, and I'm like, bro, I'm on my way. He's like, yeah, I'm just getting rigged up right now. He goes, I'm going to tie on this whopper plopper. Hang on. He says,
I'm going to tie on this whopper plopper.
It was, 37 degrees.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she was blowing. The wind was blowing. It was something.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, cool, man. I know what it was. He was like, I want to use this combo is what it is. And he's like, I'm going to tie it on. So he goes, his first cast with it, line goes immediately right over a limb that's hanging in front. I'm like, you're going to lose that plopper. He didn't. Shockingly enough, did not catch a fish on that plopper.
Really?
Yeah, I was a little amazed by
no
that.
kidding.
I was a little amazed.
Wow.
Well, and I said to him, this is hilarious. I was like, I go, dude, I'm not going to tell you you're not going to catch a fish on there. But what I am going to say is that you are not likely to catch a fish on there today based on like what's going on. I said, it doesn't mean that it can't happen. He goes, I'm here to hedge my bets. Oh, man. So we go out. We fished the first spot that we hit. We each hooked up on glorious fall fish, 5-6 inch long fall fish. And if I were smarter, because what I had done on Friday before the show, Reaction Tackle had sent me one of their backpacks. Right, they're waterproof backpacks, just to demo and give some feedback on. And now I'm at a point where like, yes, I can go ahead and do that. So what I did was I went through my day box and I took a bunch of baits and I set this up so I could carry a good like smorgasbord of baits to cover a lot of different situations. What's not in there is any like live bait stuff. You know what I mean? And I should probably do something about that. I should probably think about that a little bit more because those fall fish would have been great bait. Great bait.
Yeah.
And I totally didn't think about it. We were starting to put together a pattern. We figured out that they seem to like gold blades more than anything else. Gold. He caught his on this super tiny, like a micro lipless. And I caught mine on a micro spinnerbait with a gold Colorado blade, just thumping away. It was a Mule Bronco blade, actually. And so that was it. Then we fished this other spot that I really like, but the water level was so freaking high. It was like we were standing on this one point like fucking billy goats. And if we slid at all, bath time. Oh my God, it was sketchy.
Right.
So we decide, you know what, we're not getting bit. Let's go ahead. We'll scratch, we'll cross this one off the list. We'll go either find another spot or go get lunch.
Lunch was delicious.
That was pretty much the gist of it. And then I went out today. My wife had, unfortunately, like I said, New Orleans is off the table. My wife spent yesterday at the ER. She's been not feeling herself lately, and it's been kind of rough for her. She talked to her doctor. She's like, you should go and get seen right away. Well, she was there for 9 hours and never got seen because she was like the least sick person there at any moment of the day. And, you know, she works in healthcare, so she's not upset about this. She knows how it is. She is seemingly making a turn for the better now, which is good. So we went out today. We had a little morning time to ourselves. We went out and got, coffee and ran a couple of errands and stuff. And I decided I was going to come home and send it. I was looking for a rainbow trout, perch, rock bass, anything like that. I had 2 spots, chain pickerel. That was another one too. And went out to 2 different spots. I started getting bites on one of those micro chatterbaits, one of those Jackal Dara breaks. And I was like, just not really connecting. I was like, well, what is it? What is it? Let's make a change here. This was a silver blade. Let's try a gold. Let's see what happens. Could not get a bite over there. So I said, I'm going to cut my losses. I'm going to change bodies of water. And I went over to Congamon Jr., hoping that Congamon Jr. would do what Congamon Jr. does and deliver me a 12 to 14 inch snot rocket immediately.
Fail. Absolute fail.
Terrible. Not even a bite. It was ridiculous. So I decided, screw this. I'm going to call it a day. I got to record with Ken and with Andrew, and we'll get that together and make it happen. So that's where we are now. How was your week, Joe?
Not as fishy as yours.
It was fucking fishy.
So I did get a send out on Monday. I did go out for most of the day. I actually went out to Webster Lake. Kind of want to see what was going on over there. It's a big body of water. It's a good place. It's a good place for me to go when I want to adjust my my live scope, my forward facing sonar.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the main reason I went, because there was a couple of things I wanted to try out, but and it was slow for me. I got a couple dinks. I got one smallie dink, one largemouth dink, a couple crappie, but it was pretty uneventful. I mean, I was going all around the lake. I just, the water temperature was still super cold. They weren't active at all. I mean, I wasn't really seeing much on the scope, and it was more of a, kind of check how my gear is doing after the tournament and whatnot, make sure everything's good. I don't need to swap anything out. Made some adjustments and whatnot, but that was pretty much it for me, man. I went out there, like I said, it was pretty uneventful. I did see Nick Ringard.
That's awesome.
I
haven't seen Nick in a minute.
Yeah, same here. So we chatted up for a few minutes as I was coming in as he was going out, and it was funny. You had the boat ramp was full of the trout guys, which was funny. And they're like, it was funny. One of them's like, "Oh, is that one of those live scope things on the front of your boat?" I'm like, "It is." And
you're ready to punch someone?
Yeah, he's like, "Can you check and see if there's any fish where we're cast?" So I was like, "Sure." And so I pop it out. And I put it down and I don't see shit. Shit. He's like, "How's it look?"
Be like, it's loaded.
They're all over the place. All over the place.
You guys must just not be throwing the right stuff.
Yeah.
Have you tried power bait?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's it, and that's how they are. A few bunch of old timers, just exactly what they had. They had their 1970, spinning combo with their 15 fucking pinch weights on the line with some floating power bait. But
looks like Ben balls.
Yeah, exactly. So I had to deal with that. They were nice. They weren't like assholes or anything, because sometimes you do you do deal with the dicks. Like they were on the boat ramp, but they got right out of my way and whatnot. So
and that I understand. Like, hey, if there's nobody, but it's when you're trying to back up a boat. Like I'm hanging out my window going beep beep beep, and nobody's moving.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Gonna have to hit somebody.
Yep. So that was my fishing day. I didn't get out at all the rest of the week. We had that weather. Fucking my house got smashed with wind and ice, and it actually is kind of funny. So I went to work that morning, right? And I get up and I'm just like, oh, we're talking 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, this sucks.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm already grumpy because everything like fucking froze over. And I put all my shit away already. Like, I didn't have a shovel handy, none of that shit. I'm like, this is fucking stupid. And so I hop in my truck. I'm already pissy because I'm all mad because I'm looking at the boat. The boat's covered in snow, the cover. I'm like,
there's
this
nothing
is
worse, dude.
Yeah. So I leave and there's I go down some side streets by my house to get to work. That I take to get to work, and there's a fucking plow. So now I'm stuck behind a plow. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, I don't need this morning. Like, I'm not in the mood. And he just stops in the middle of the road. So I wait. I'm trying to be patient. I'm like, Joe, just be patient. He's just doing his job. And finally, it's a smaller street. It's not very wide. I have a large truck. So I was like, this is gotta be tight, but I'm just gonna fucking pass this guy. Like, he just stopped in the middle of the road. This is stupid. So I pass him on the driver's side, and as I'm passing him, he's like throwing his arms out the window. Like I couldn't tell if he was waving me forward, waving me off, or flipping me off. I was just like, whatever, dude. Like, get mad at me. As I drive, I hear bump, 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 and I look back. No.
You hit a kid.
It was two fucking downed live power lines.
Oh,
dude. I was like, oh shit. That's why he was telling me to stop.
Oh shit, dude.
It's whatever. It's whatever. I was just got up. I didn't even put my contacts in. So the world was all fuzzy. And
oh yeah.
But so I'm laughing to myself about that. I was like, oh, that guy was actually trying to be nice, and I was being a complete asshole. Yeah. So I hop on the pike, dude, and it was like every 5 miles was a fucking accident. And it's all the fucking jamokes that because the pike was a mess. The pike was like all ice, sleet,
fucking sketch. Yeah.
Yep, it was. So I'm going pretty slow, and 1, 2, 3, 4 accidents I saw, right? Oh. And they were you could tell they were all the people who like, I can go a little faster than this, and they start to get squirrely, and then they spin, and then they played Plinko on the guardrail. Every single one of them.
That's rough.
Yep. So 4 accidents. I get to work. It was still fucking snowing out in Westfield, and that was that. But what else? What else happened this week? Oh my God, we bought Emma a fucking pet, dude.
Oh, would you get her?
Did you see it? You did see it on Facebook?
No.
We bought my daughter a fucking ferret.
Oh my God. Dude, Draco's got to be losing his fucking mind.
Dude, he is. So yeah, I know you have. I'm pretty sure you have Meg on Facebook. So you got to go on her. She put up a video, dude, of Draco and the fucking ferret just like playing, dude.
They're hanging out. Oh fucking hell, dude! I thought
he's a gentle giant, man.
I thought about you the other day. I was loading my truck. This was Tuesday after trivia. I was loading my gear in my truck, and I guess I was just quiet enough. There was a giant Ram pickup right next to me.
Yeah.
2 adult German Shepherds that were not psyched that I was putting my stuff into my truck next to this. Holy shit. I can't imagine that ferret has a long shelf life. Wow. Do you put them in like a protective ball or something?
Yeah, no.
Really? Oh, wow, dude.
Yeah, no, he just...
watch your keys with a ferret, too.
Yeah. So I grew up with them. I had them growing up, and I like them. Like a lot.
That helps.
Ferrets are love or hate, man. Either you love them or you hate them. there's a lot of misconceptions to them, like, oh, they stink and whatnot. Yeah, they stink if you're an asshole. And
you got to take care of them and shit. Yeah,
yeah.
Any animal stinks if you don't take care of them.
Yep. So she's been awesome. You know, she's 5. She's been awesome. She's in her room. The ferret's in her room, and she's been great with it, man.
Dude, that's wild.
It's one of those things where she keeps asking me, and she actually was asking me for a bunny, and I was like, man, I don't want a rabbit. Yeah. And we just so happened to be at Petco 2 nights ago, and I was like, well, what about one of these? She's like, I want that. So
that's awesome.
So got our ferret, and the fucking farm continues.
The farm just goes on. I love it, dude. I love it, man.
So, but yeah, it is wild to have 100+ pound German Shepherd running around with a fucking ferret, just like
wild.
Playing with it. It's crazy. Yeah, they like play hide and seek. Like the ferret he gets pissed because the ferret will go into places that he can't
get to. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just like, what the fuck?
Yep. Yeah. So that was Joe's frivolous purchase of the week. You
got to do it though.
Yeah, you got to do it.
Yeah. Damn, dude.
Yeah, so I did spend some time today getting ready because I am hitting the water in the morning. I'm pre-fishing for a tournament I have this weekend.
Nice.
It's actually a great body of water to fish.
Mm-hmm.
It's not huge. It's probably like comparable to like Quabog, like the main pond. But you know what sucks about this place?
Oh no,
it's speed limit 12 miles an hour.
It's got to be small if that's the situation.
Yeah, so it's not, and well, that's the problem, Bobby. It's not super small. It's like 700 acres. I mean, for most people in the fishing world, that's small, but that's pretty average for us.
For around here, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but it's a good fishery. I enjoy going there. It's feast or famine. I saw a tournament there, actually. Jay Haskins from Bog Hog, and I watched them pull out. It was a 23-pound bag out of there. One fucking tournament.
Yep.
With an 8-pound.
Oh,
8-pound bass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So they're in there. In there. So I was gonna go today. I chose to go tomorrow because the weather. The weather tomorrow is gonna be more comparable to the weekend.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah, that's a good idea.
Or as of right now, who knows what fucking will change, but.
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday look great, and then it looks like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday we get a shit ton of rain, and then but again, I have a feeling it's gonna condense on either side, and Thursday's gonna get hammered with rain, and that's gonna be it. But
we had a snowstorm, an earthquake, all kinds of shit happening. And then we got an eclipse tomorrow. It's world's ending.
The earthquake, man. Now I didn't even feel that shit. I was in the shower when it happened. My wife did, and I got a phone call from Sean the fisherman. He was like, holy shit, dude, did you feel that? And I'm like, I'm an idiot. No, I was, I said, I was in the shower, and I think in the whatever time I was maybe turning around or something like that. And I'm like, it just never registered with me. But it did originate in New Jersey. And I did check in with our New Jersey counterpart, Janelle, to see what the story was there. And I was like, hey, did you guys feel that? She's like, yeah, the whole fucking house was shaking. It was a 4.8, I believe is what it came in on, which 4.8 sounds like a big number. It's not. It's not even where it starts doing damage until you get to 7 or 8, you get up there and it's a different animal.
Yeah.
But
there's some pretty good TikToks that I came across. That was New Jersey earthquake of 2024. We will rebuild, and it shows a road cone that's knocked over.
Yeah, it's just it's nuts. And I mean, I get it. For us in this part of the country, it's not an everyday thing.
It's not peculiar. It's not something
definitely
that
sticks out, but. It is wild. Cheryl chimes in here and she goes, Cheryl's about to get even more mad at me. Cheryl says, I'm so jealous, Bobby. I had tickets for Wednesday night show in Boston. The storm messed up my transportation, so I couldn't go. What a lineup. Cheryl, it was absolutely fantastic. What I neglected to leave out was my buddy. He got tickets that were 6 rows back center. We had amazing seats for this too. The storm, that was because they were in Boston. I think 2 nights. I thought like Wednesday and Thursday, but at least Wednesday. It's just crazy, and it was just an absolutely awesome show. John Higgins chimes in and he goes, he's like, I'm planning a catfish send tomorrow, targeting blues. John and I had a little conversation. I think it was on Wednesday about catfishing. And he and I, I'd asked him, I was like, look, I want to target some big catfish and obviously like species of catfish that we can't catch here, blues, flatheads, like things like that. Like I'd love to target some of that stuff. What do I need? And I was like, I'm thinking about putting together like a bait caster, like a catfish rod, like a heavy rig for something like that. And he's like, all right. He gave me some really, really great spots where I can kind of start and look around. I think I figured out what I'm going to do, but I am realizing something. Anywhere in New England, I don't need that heavy of a rig because our catfish here are just not that big. At least when you look at like the records, because that's what I was looking at was like state records. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm going to have to go and just give it a send locally. I'm going to put this together for when I do put the time in and I go down to fish like the Potomac.
Well, dude, I know people. I know people. You've met them or know of them that have caught some big channels out of Connecticut,
like
River.
the Connecticut River. Yeah, but I think you're like I'm looking at targeting like 60 to 100 pound fish.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. All right.
Like that's why I'm like, oh yeah, this could be a little bit of a different animal. But yeah, I mean, you can catch an 18 pound channel cat. I think the state record is like somewhere in the teens. Which is big. But again, like who knows who's caught what and hasn't registered it with the state. You know what I mean?
Right.
There could be some absolute giants. So it's just one of those things.
One thing that was wild when I was down in Hartwell, because they got big cats down there, is the water level was it was down like 8 feet, and it's like that really red clay,
Yep.
And you'd be going down and you see fucking the bank, like, so it's a pretty steep drop on the bank, that's above water.
Oh yeah.
And you see the fucking catfish holes all over the place.
Oh yeah. They're like little fucking pueblos. They're like,
shit. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was like, I asked somebody, I was like, what the fuck is up with all the holes? And they're like, oh man, those are fucking catfish holes, man. Don't stick your arms in those things.
Shit. Like they must know, like, sense that the water level's dropping, and they're like, all right, let's scoot and dip out of there.
Must.
They've got to.
Yeah, they must. I mean, otherwise they're in there dead. I don't know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. God, that's got to be terrible. One other thing I did on Wednesday. Do you notice anything different?
The beard looks tight, Bobby.
I cut off almost 2 inches. I cut off a lot. And I think this is where we're going to stay for a little while. This is good. I went to go visit my barber Mo on Wednesday, and she hooked it up. So I'm like, this is good. I also had to re-up on some beard oil, and I ordered a variety. I've been using Beard Octane lately for beard oil. They have a scent that I really like called Murica. And it's like sandalwood and apple. It's like sandalwood, vanilla, and apple, but the apple is like the strongest note. So it's really interesting. And I've gone through a number of those jars of their beard oil, and it's awesome. But I decided I want to try a few others. So I got 4 different ones, 4 different scents, and I just cracked in one called Nitro, and the scent is blueberries and ground coffee. And I fucking love it. I might return the other ones and just say, like, get me 3 more.
Yeah.
It's so nice. My Holly likes it. Like, I'm like, this is freaking awesome.
That's cool.
Let's dive into like I said at the beginning of the show. This is the first week is almost complete. Tomorrow is going to start week number 2 of the Scavenger Hunt series, and a couple of things. Had a conversation last night with Lauren. Formerly of Three Bells Outfitters. Lauren had messaged me and she was like, hey, she is going to be giving a custom, I believe a beer mug or a pint glass, to the winners of the Scavenger Hunt series. So when you win, you're going to get like a commemorative glass sent to you. Well, she's got the, what do you call it? The etching that she can do, the engraving. But there's also like this other method that she's doing where she can incorporate more like some other interesting design, and I think colors as well. So she's coming up with a design. I don't know if they're going to be the same for each month or if she's going to vary it or how it's going to work, but it'll be really, really interesting, and I'm stoked for it. But this week...
Thanks, Lauren.
Yeah, Lauren, thank you. Appreciate you, Lauren. We're also going to link Lauren's info if you're interested. If you have something that you need, like promotional products for or something like that, contact Lauren. She's got a handful of accounts that are like pretty large accounts that she's been doing some stuff with, and her designs are absolutely awesome. Her quality is fantastic. But you know, this week has been pretty amazing for the scavenger hunt. If you're listening to this show right now on Tuesday. Well, hang on. What is today? Today's the 7th, isn't it? It is the 7th. Yeah, if you're listening to this show on Tuesday, it is too late. You cannot enter the scavenger hunt. But a bunch of you got the memo, and we're up to 34 anglers right now. And I think 34 anglers for April is really fantastic. So congratulations to everybody. In the amount of time that I've closed this app and opened it since we've started, I think we've had 6 other fish get entered in. There are 60 entries, and I've probably already judged 52 or 53 of them. Because I'm the only judge this time around, so there's nobody helping me out. I'm trying to stay on it as much as I can. And a big congratulations and shout out to everybody competing. There was only one fish I had to deny, and it was simply because that angler forgot to put their identifier on either their card or on their hand. And the next fish that they submitted, they knew that it was the case. It was the only fish I had to disqualify. So, like, you guys absolutely crushing it. Amazing. Let's go through some of the standings right now, and we'll talk about who's got what. So this week when we launched, we had a little bit of a snafu. A number of contestants and competitors had reached out to me letting me know that the total points scoreboard was not displaying. So I reached out to Sean to verify who to contact over at Fishing Chaos. I reached out to Fishing Chaos, let them know what was going on. They fixed it, and then it was giving issues with... It was giving extra points for the lunker, the way it was doing the old scoring. So if you had a lunker in a category, it was giving you 2 points. And I reached out to them and I said, oh, this is the other thing that's going on. They got it fixed within a couple of days. Then I went so far as to let them know that I've got May and I've got June all set if they want to get a jump start on those. Because apparently this is an issue they have to fix on their end. So once we get to once we get into May, I'm going to do July, August, September, and October to get them all done. And I'll be submitting that. Now, the good news is that doesn't affect the bass tournament at all. June 29th is our first Summer Slam slot limit series that's going on. I'm inventing names as we go for this, but yeah, it's that slot limit nationwide bass tournament that we're doing. And I believe you're going to have the entire month of June. I'm sorry, the entire month of May even to register and get in on it. So there's going to be information coming for that. But let's go ahead and talk about what the top leaderboard looks like right now. So we have 34 anglers that are entered. We have 20 out of 34 who have entered fish. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of our anglers that are all tied right now with 1 point apiece. Guess the species who the vast majority of these anglers have entered in.
Bass.
Yeah.
Crappie.
We have a couple of yellow perch.
Yeah.
We have a couple of yellow perch that are in there. But for the most part, it's all bass. And there have been folks who have been like entering in like a bass of one size and then upgrading. And definitely you want to do that. If you upgrade in a species, you want to enter that for sure.
Right.
It's a good thing. So we go up, we have a bunch of folks that jump in. And let's just go ahead. I'll give shout outs for those names. Cheryl Bentley, we've got Chrissy Radwilowitz, Jenna Beaudry, we've got Jimmy Golahan, we've got Josh Welch, Janelle Orsino, Robbie Munier, David Pelletier, Binya Outdoors, we got Hunter Cummins, and Rebecca Yassine. That's Fishing with Becca. They're all tied right now with one entry. We go up a level. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, four-way tie at 2 points apiece. Todd Sefton, Daniel Sudo Jr., Timmy Jakes, and Norm Wilmot. They're all at 2 points apiece. Lot of, like Norm, for instance, has two different species of trout, rainbow and a brown. I'm looking for that. I'm looking for that rainbow. Timmy Jakes put in a freaking beaut of a pickerel, man, like a 20 and a half or a 21, a big pickerel, nice one. And he's also got a largemouth in there. Then we jump up to in fifth place, the one and only Bobby Roastbeef with 3 points. I'm the only one at 3 points. With a crappie, a brown trout, and that largemouth I mentioned. We jump ahead, Steve Galloway. Steven Galloway has 4 points, a rock bass, a walleye, a smallmouth, and a largemouth. Tim Behan, he is in the chat with us right now. Tim Behan has 5 points right now, tied up with Gravy. 5 points. He's got a brown trout, a tiger trout. That tiger trout was a beaut, by the way. Great work. Rainbow trout, a carp, and a yellow perch. Interesting. Not a bass in there. Interesting. 5 points. Then we go to Gravy. Gravy. I think Gravy only fished like 2 days, but he managed to do 5 points within those 2 days. He's got a crappie. He's got a pickerel. He's got a rainbow. He's got a yellow perch and a largemouth. And then John Hagen's currently in first place. And I said this earlier this week. I said, if there's a guy that I'm going to put my money on, it's John. I got a feeling. John Hagen's has a rock bass, a sunfish, a walleye, a bullhead catfish, a smallie, and a largemouth. 6 points in the lead right now. It usually takes about, I think, 11 or 12, sometimes 13, usually to win this generally, but who knows? And we've got folks from all over the country. We've had entries coming in from the Midwest. We've got entries coming in down south. We've got entries all over New England. It is game on. We're going to make this happen, and I'm stoked. I'm really looking forward to it. You guys have been absolutely killing it, and we got some great giveaways, too, including some stuff from Hookset Hoodlums. I got to add their artwork and everything to Fishing Chaos, but dudes, it's game on. We're going to have ourselves a good time. I am stoked to see how this plays out this season. And I got something great in the back of my mind for next year as a counterpart to this scavenger hunt. It's just going to be insane. Let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, we got Jay Manning in the house, says, hey. We got Pat Martin. What's Pat Martin saying here? Says, unfortunately, don't have time this month to give it the proper effort, but May it will be on. I'm expecting May to be even busier. I really am. I think May is going to be, because that's where the weather starts to get really good and folks are just like, let's carve out some time to go ahead and do this. And let's be honest, having Memorial Day weekend in there is not a bad thing because people like to block that weekend out and fish like crazy. So, even though there's going to be some lake lice, it's going to happen. But anyway, Joe, I think it's about that time. What do you think?
I think it is. All right, let's talk some news in the fishing world. So straight on the heels of the debauchery with James Watson, the MLF, we have another story coming out of the MLF. This one actually happened about a week prior, but I just got, I just kind of, or around the same time, I just kind of missed it. But two pro fishermen essentially have been banned from MLF for essentially breaking the wake rules, the no wake zone. And we're going to talk about it. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. So pro bass anglers could have been killed in crash while speeding back to weigh-in. 2 men have been suspended from the MLF following a dangerous collision during a bass fishing tournament in Florida. A professional bass fishing tournament nearly ended in tragedy on March 19th when 2 competing boats collided in a narrow canal, with one boat landing directly on top of the other. The boat wreck occurred during day 1 of the Major League Fishing's Toyota Series on Florida's Harris chain of lakes. And MLF determined through its investigation that both operators had intentionally sped through the no-wake zone and the Apopka-Beauclair Canal. The league said in a press release that the 2 men have been suspended from all MLF tournaments for at least 1 year. I'm looking at the photos, Bobby, and they're lucky to be alive. It's actually pretty crazy. One of them's up in the woods and shit. This is narrow. This is
shit. It's skinny, huh?
maybe a boat length wide.
Oh shit.
Maybe, yeah. And
Wow.
I mean, and there's a bunch of like floating docks around and stuff. So yeah, they should not have been speeding. But
Yeah.
the boater Mark Succi of Catalua, Georgia, and his co-angler Jeff Cox of Saline, Michigan, along with boater Douglas Reed of Bridgeton, New Jersey, and his angler Mitch Hayes of Florida were involved in the accident. Both boaters were in violation of MLF Toyota Series Rule Number 9. Specifically, Succi and Reed operated their boats in an unsafe manner and violated a posted no-wake area. The league did not provide any additional information about the wreck, but another pro angler who was fishing the tournament and happened upon the wreck posted a YouTube video that reveals further details about the accident. Basically, it's basically the same thing that we said. You know, they were just acting a fool and speeding through a no-wake zone. So, yeah, so I'm looking at the pictures here. Hopefully their insurance covers that, but they're probably going to see these news reports and give them a lot of guff. But, guys, no wake zones are no wake zones for a reason.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I saw.
And if it's in the rules, you know, that you have to, that's what I'm saying. Like, I wonder what the fuck they were thinking to try to speed through there and, you know, with it being that skinny.
Yeah, and essentially what it sounds like is there's like a railroad bridge that makes it go even more narrow, and it sounds like they were trying to kind of race to see who can get through it first, and one of them kind of let off the throttle and then the other one did, and jeez. I don't know, one ended up on top of the other.
Oh my god. I mean, dude, that's freaking nuts.
It doesn't say the speed or anything like that, but yeah, it's pretty wild. Yeah, I mean, a quote straight from that professional fisherman was, "You guys cannot be running these no wake zone because it's not worth it, especially in this Popka Canal, which I believe it's the Harris Channel Lakes. You can barely fit one boat through there at the railroad trestle, like we talked, and I don't even know how they were planning on running it. Even idling through there is pretty sketchy, so it doesn't make sense to me." So, yeah, and then there's some pictures of them, one up in the woods. I don't see pictures of the other boat. It could be at the bottom. Who knows? Because this one is halfway at the bottom of the canal as well. And this story came from Outdoor Life. It's actually in quite a few different outlets, but I got the best one that I thought here on Outdoor Life. So that's story number 1. Okay, straight on the heels of the James Watson crap.
Mm-hmm.
So our next story, also from Outdoor Life, comes with a headline of "Truck full of salmon smolts crashes in Oregon, spilling 77,000 fish into the nearby creek." Ooh. So, although another 26,000 smolts died in the roadside, officials say the incident shouldn't affect the health of future hatchery stocks.
Really?
So, some 102,000 spring Chinook salmon smolts destined for the Amaha River by way of tanker truck failed to reach their destination on March 29th when the tanker crashed next to the Looking Glass Creek near the Looking Glass Hatchery in northeastern Oregon. The Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife reports that the location of the crash was, in a way, serendipitous, because almost 75% of the smolts landed in the creek, which is a tributary of the Grand Ronde River, where they were going anyway.
They were going to end up there anyway.
Yeah. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise that happened there. Unfortunately, roughly 26,000 did die in the incident on the side of the road. There's a picture of that. Kind of sucks to see.
Yep.
But like they said, it shouldn't affect the fishing season too much, because there is a kill off between, just changing weather conditions and, nature anyway.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but that bitch flipped right upside down. I mean, there's pictures of that tanker truck. I mean, the tank is literally hanging down like into the ravine. I'm surprised there's like a bunch of fuel and shit didn't follow him down there. Yeah, that story also comes from Outdoor Life. I just kind of gave you the cliff notes of it. If you want to go in there and read it, the whole thing, I pretty much gave you all of it though. But our last story coming from Wire to Fish, and we talked about the the carp from last week.
Oh yeah.
And this week we have Angler Snags world record paddlefish. And I did not know that snagging is like a thing out there for these paddlefish.
Oh,
it's
dude,
not something
that's how you fish for them. Yeah.
Yeah, I did not know this. But yeah, let me read it to you. This is a pretty short one. Paddlefish snagging season is off to a hot start after a Kansas angler caught the world record paddlefish on the Lake of the Ozarks.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. That's a big ass body of water. The fish came on opening weekend and left all anglers involved in shock. The Missouri Department of Conservation announced that Chad Williams of Olathe, Kansas, had caught the record fish on March 17th, 2024. The paddlefish weighed in at a whopping 164 pounds and 13 ounces.
Christ.
You should see the picture of it. It's bigger than him. The fish not only surpasses the previous state record of 140 pounds, but also the previous world record of 164 pounds even. Williams stated that he had never been paddlefish snagging before. In fact, he didn't even know what a paddlefish was up until this day.
Shut up. That is amazing.
Williams stated he was invited on a snagging trip with friends when he hooked into something massive. The fish took forever to reel in, according to Williams, and once it reached the boat, they knew they had a potential record. They went to they then took their catch to the Three Brothers Meat Company in Montreal, Missouri, to have it weighed by a Missouri Department of Conservation certified scale. So where was the last certified scale? The last one, it was at like a random fucking place. This one's just like at a meat factory.
Yeah. I think it was like a farm supply or something. The last one.
It was something wild. But Williams decided to keep the paddlefish with the plans to taxidermy the head, and him and his wife kept some of the meat and shared the rest of it with a fishing group of close friends. For more information on Missouri state records, check out the link below.
Now,
so there's another world record come out of the United States this week.
Could you imagine? Could you just imagine for a second going and fishing for the first time, going snagging for paddlefish and breaking the world record? Like, talk about making every single other trip you take for the rest of your life fishing for paddlefish absolutely suck.
Or any fish. Everything's really, just uneventful. I'm probably not going to catch another world record.
Like that. I mean, that's the beauty about fishing, is that shit can just happen to random folks.
Yep.
Like,
let me see if I can kind of show the picture to the folks on here.
Holy fucking shit, dude. He's not a little guy either.
No. They both have the same beer belly, which is kind of funny.
Do. Oh my God. Have you ever seen paddlefish are frightening looking? Like,
dude, there's something that it's kind of the same thing. I had never really heard of them until the last few years.
Oh yeah.
I think I had them kind of mixed with sawfish. I had them confused with those, but dude, it's just to think that those fucking things are in fresh water. I mean, Lake of the Ozarks, that's one of the top recreational lakes.
Oh yeah.
In the country, a party lake.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And you have these things fucking running and swimming around. No thanks.
It's insane.
It's why only swim in pools, people.
Cheryl Bentley chimes in. She goes, yes, I'm going this month to try and snag one in Oklahoma. That is wild.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, dude, just if there's one bit of advice I have for you guys, fucking travel. Fucking get out there, travel. Yeah. Do the weird fucking fishing trip, get the extra tacos, whatever, travel, enjoy yourself. Cause man, I'll tell you what, it's such a short amount of time we have on this planet. Make the best of it. Do the best you can with it. That is awesome, Cheryl. Have a blast with that. I can't even imagine. Dude, 160, Jesus.
Yeah, dude.
And I have to
164 pounds.
I have to assume, John chimes in with some paddlefish information, says accidentally snagged a 40-pound paddlefish here, every bit of 4 foot long from snout to tail. They are endangered in Ohio, so it was weighed and then immediately released. No shit. That's crazy. And I believe when you're snagging fish, that's just dead ass weight,
Oh yeah. It's, and again, I don't know anything about paddlefish, so I don't know if they fight or anything like that, but I guess it could go one of two ways, because I mean, think about when you foul hook a fucking bass or something. It's like, you're like, man, this ain't, it's fighting, but it's not fighting like a bass. Yeah. So I don't know if it's like, man, Jesus, I'm just looking at this thing. I'm like, I can't believe this looks like it should be a fucking saltwater fish.
Yeah,
this should not
it definitely does.
Or something you see in like the fucking Amazon. Like, this is not something you should see in the fucking Lake of the Ozarks. Man. Like the, oh God, Massachusetts, we got lucky with like shit like that, dude.
I know, no fucking scary ass shit. We get the occasional bowfin or pickerel, or pike. Okay, okay,
yep,
my God. That's awesome. So yeah, we've got more headlines. That's great. I love this. This is great. I love this shit.
Every week. Guys, I'll find something for you guys every week.
Yeah. No, this is awesome. So let's go ahead. We're going to take a short break. You guys are not going to hear Just the Tip or FTG or Gear of the Week this week, because instead we have a little sit down with Ken and Andrew from Hookset Hoodlums. We're making it official here.
Save the date, guys.
We're making it official here. Hookset Hoodlums is now officially a partner with Jigs and Bigs. So what does that mean for you? Well, listen to this. You're going to find out. We've got a bunch of stuff that's in the works that we're going to go ahead and put out. It might include some collaborations. We might have some early drops for some jig heads. Just things like that are pretty cool. And when we get back from that, I've got Ethan Dhuyvetter. You probably have seen him on YouTube. FishAnything is his channel. He also is the mastermind behind, I would say, probably the hottest domestic ultralight tackle companies in the U.S., Mule Fishing. We're going to talk about not just BFS, ultralight fishing in general. And he's got a great story, man. He's done it all. He's been into the competitive angling scene. He's been just a rabid bass fisherman for a long time, and has his fishing is kind of adapted. He is what I would say is a whole angler. And we're going to hear from him in our third segment. Guys, don't go too far. We got much more Jigs and Bigs goodness coming up right after this. Jigs and Bigs wants to take a moment to say thank you to our partners for helping us continue to push the limits of our fishing adventures and bring you amazing long-form podcast content. We need to thank Dark Horse Tackle, Omnia Fishing, A-Bay Lure, The Bay House, and The Ship Motel. We can't forget about Three Bells Outfitters, Torres Sunglasses, and of course, Reaction Tackle. Be sure to check the description of this podcast for any associated affiliate links or promo codes they've generously provided our listening audience. Again, we cannot thank our partners enough for their support. Please consider supporting them and supporting the show in the same process. Thanks. Hey, you. Yeah, you. The one with the impeccable taste in fishing podcasts. Bobby Roast Beef here with a little call to action for all Jigs and Bigs listeners. We're opening up our hotline to you. Now you can call us to sound off about almost anything at 413-324-8519. Want to submit someone for our FTG segment? Call us at 413-324-8519. Care to maybe suggest a topic for Just the Tip or Bait of the Week? Call us at 413-324-8519. Maybe you just want to give us or anyone else a little shout out on the show, or you want to suggest a guest for the beef seat. You guessed it. Call us at 413-324-8519. The Jigs and Bigs hotline is there for you to leave a message with us 24/7. Just call 413-324-8519. Also, you can check that number in the notes of this podcast. Alrighty, guys, welcome back. Bobby Roast Beef here for Jigs and Bigs, and I am joined by two fabulous individuals here. I've got the one and only Ken and Andrew from Hookset Hoodlums. And you might notice. I thought we were all wearing matching hats for a second. I really did. I just noted that dawned on me now, and I'm like, oh no, Andrew's going old school. You might notice that something looks a little bit different. Normally, when we've got Hookset Hoodlum representation in the house, it's a trio and not a duo. And yes, the rumors are true. Ladies and gentlemen, Wild Bill Fishing has sold all of his shares of Hookset Hoodlums to me, and I am taking over as the third. No, in all seriousness, there was a little bit. I had a conversation with Bill earlier this weekend, and he was like, dude, everybody thinks there's some kind of drama, and there's not. I'm like, you're a busy guy. I totally get it. Why don't we go ahead? We have an announcement, obviously, with Jigs and Bigs and Hookset Hoodlums. Like, we're finally making it official. You know what I mean? Which is kind of nice. But let's go ahead and just the hottest sort of news in Hookset Hoodlums. What's going on at the Hookset Hoodlums camp? People gotta know.
Andrew and I discussed it, and it was time to trim the fat. So we had to get rid of them. No, I'm only kidding.
I hear what you're saying.
From my perspective of it. Things were getting a little quiet on our end, pretty much from the fall through the winter.
Yeah,
and that was on purpose. We had some things to focus on, family things, some mental health things, some physical health things. Yep. So that's the best time for us to take a break and kind of pull back from things. Go ahead.
All of that stuff. I'm going to be playing around with the video, Ken. Just don't worry about it. I'll make the mess. Don't worry about it. It's all going to be good. See, it looks good. I should say, it's totally understandable. Like, especially being like New England fishing content creators, it's tough. It is. It's tough for us. You get to that part of the year, and thank God for expo season. You know what I mean? Because it's like once January hits, you're like, okay, cool. It gets thin when the fishing and the outings change up, and you don't have fresh content to put out nonstop and everything. The good news is that Hookset Hoodlums, the family itself, is spread all over the country, so there is stuff kind of coming and going. And you're right. You mentioned family stuff, mental health, all this stuff. All of these things are very important to have a successful endeavor, whether it be a passion project, a business, anything like that. If you're not right in the head and in the house, you got to get things together, So,
yeah, absolutely.
So how about you, Drew? Now let's jump into this. Now there's talk in the Hookset Hoodlums Pro Staff chat about everybody going hard this year and really, really coming out swinging. You are coming out swinging, Drew, because you've got yourself a new craft.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about it.
Yeah. So I had ordered it probably a couple months ago. I was trying to order one last year, but they were all out of stock. And then finally winter came. I saw Hoodoo. It was an ad, I think, on my feed. So I was like, oh, let me see if they have anything available. I wanted a smaller vessel only because obviously I throw it up on a roof rack.
Yep.
So they had this Voyager 100P, 10-foot long, and everything worked out. Ordered it, and it finally showed up last week. It was raining outside.
Yep.
But I said, I got to open it up. I got to make sure everything's squared away on it, get excited about it. So, made a short video on it, and I'm so happy.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. And it's been so windy out here.
Yep.
Obviously probably you're even more north, but, rainy, windy, nasty. So I wanted to kind of wait and hold off until I used it.
Yep.
At least on it, it's maiden voyage. So in case, I stand up on it and I end up falling in, I don't want to my nuts off. So
yeah, smart.
Yeah. So hopefully next week, it's supposed to warm up a bit.
Yep.
The kids are off from school. So I'm going to try to hop out there. I mean, even if it's only for like an hour or so, but I just want to, get the hang of it, pedal around, because I'm coming off a very basic kayak that, paddles, couldn't stand up in it.
Sure.
And the seats in the bottom of it. So just kind of paddling around. I'm excited for sitting up higher.
Yep.
I feel like it's such an advantage. And also standing up. I mean, I love standing up fishing.
Yep.
It's just, I don't know, it's easier for me. So yeah, I'm excited, man.
It's freaking awesome, dude. That is awesome. Now, it's funny because like you've got a boat at your disposal. So you're able to get out there, and this ties right into what we talked about on last week's show. Joe and I had introduced a new segment called Broke on the Boat, which, get this, we give out financial advice to people. We give out financial advice to people, and we had a listener who had reached out to us and given I say a listener, a past guest. It was that was on the show, and she had purchased a kayak and had a really, really terrible experience with the retailer and everything. We've got a little bit of an update that I'll share in the show, that's going to run this week, but. With that, like in our advice that we talked about, we're like, you got to choose a kayak that, fits what you want to do. And we talked about like the brand that she had bought, and then like Hoodoo came up, and we brought that up specifically because Joe has experience with them on the retail level, Yep. And we brought that up, and he was like, yeah, he goes, those boats are really designed for like that next step angler. Like, I'm on the bank and I'm sick of this. I need to get off of this bank and get mobile on the water. It's a great way to do that. But like, it plays into exactly the point that we were making last time, where when we had talked about it, I said, if you got to look at how often you fish from that kayak. I was basically making the point, and with Janelle, the girl who had the issues, I was like, how often are you out in there? And when she's in her kayak, like 3 to 5 days a week. So I'm like, what are you doing buying a 5 millimeter thick kayak and throwing a trolling motor on it? Like, I was like, you're making a mistake. I'm like, you need something that's going to last, that you're going to get. Otherwise, you're going to end up buying this kayak in another year or 2 years, and you're just going to keep doing it over and over and over again. And then you're wasting money. So, that was kind of the conversation. But for you, this works perfect. You know what I mean? Because you're probably going to be in this boat, a dozen, maybe 20 times a year?
Right.
And smaller water.
You wanted something bigger in this sense, like I said earlier, pedal, standing up, and also something that I didn't have to spend a lot of money on because, like you said, I have a boat that we use often, so something, like for like after work, a couple hours at a local pond that I don't have to load everything up on. I just got to throw it, on my rack, and I could just head somewhere. Yeah,
more of a minimalist type of mission, or just checking something out. See, that's the way to do it. So let's go ahead and shift gears. So, Hookset Hoodlums is what are we thinking about the 2024 season? How are things going? You guys have any info on what we can look forward to?
I do, but before we get there, I just want to circle back real quick.
Okay.
I want everyone to know, because we didn't make it clear, there was no drama.
Yeah, no drama
with us and Wild Bill.
Yeah, it's all love.
He's focused on his career. In 2024, we're going to come out. We're going to do a lot of content, a lot of drops, and he's like, I don't got the time for all that.
Yeah.
So he decided.
It was smart. It's tough when you're trying to balance, a growing operation like Hookset Hoodlums, and then when you've made your career a full-time OnlyFans channel like Bill has, it's a challenge to, it's demanding. It's very demanding.
Yeah. He does it little by little.
Right? Exactly right. Exactly right. Little baby steps, even. I'm terrible. But yeah, let's get to. So what does 2024 look like with all this new heat?
So 2024 for us looks busy. I give a lot of credit to full-time content creators.
Oh yeah,
because some people don't like them. Some people love it. It depends on where you're at. But the work that is put in to content creation is, if you don't do it, you don't have no idea.
It's true.
And we don't touch it like a lot of people do, because we have different jobs. But we want to get more into that Not crazy, just a little bit more. Instead of going out and fishing, we got to throw the camera on, do some editing. So we want to come a little bit heavier with that.
Yep.
We have some apparel drops obviously coming.
Yeah.
We're going to do one pretty soon. We have some ideas with, we've done some Slay Nation mashup shirts in the past.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we have a new company in mind we'd like to maybe get together with on that. They have a podcast. Nice. Yeah, you might have heard of them.
I love that.
So we'll talk about that at some point. And maybe an event or two. Camp Hookset, Hoodlum Fest. We'll see where it goes.
Camp Hookset was amazing last year. Joe and I still talk about it like it just happened. It was a freaking blast, man. It was amazing, especially that cornhole game. It was entertaining for everybody. Holy shit. I believe the term baby giraffe was thrown around a number of times, and it was just fantastic.
How's your ankle? Is your ankle okay?
Dude, I have no idea. You guys are crazy.
We're out of our mind. I
go out there and dominate, and then I get made fun of.
That's what I'm saying. It was like it's nobody's wrong here, but he's kind of killing it,
Yeah. Do you see this head that these little ankles have to support?
That's what I'm saying. It's like me. Skinny little legs, big belly. It's a bad move. It is a bad move. So
that's how we live.
We got a lot of stuff going. So that's awesome, man. I love when you guys do new drops for apparel because this stuff is awesome. One of the newest pieces Drew's wearing right now, and you guys were so unbelievably gracious to send myself and Joe one of those shirts a piece, plus a bunch of hats and all kinds of great stuff, which is awesome because Hookset Hoodlums is a mentality, a family. But, it does kind of help that you look pretty sharp with some of these designs. You know what I'm saying? It does. Yeah. And when you're like me, you need all the help you can get. So it's a good thing.
I'm right there with you. My mom always said we could put lipstick on a pig, but little Kenny, you're still a pig. So I try.
There you go. Yeah. Thanks, Ma. Thanks.
Yeah. I appreciate it.
Unbelievable, man. So how things have been lined up for you guys as far as fishing? You got any big trips that you're planning this year? Any kind of like destinations?
I don't know, Andrew. I mean, we have a spot that we've grown to like.
Yeah.
Yep. And we're excited to get back out there. We're just waiting for the water temperatures to warm up a little bit around here. Because it is very deep in certain parts there. So we just want it to warm up, let the fish move around a little bit. And then we'll come up with something. We are. We're going down to Maryland at some point.
Oh, are you guys going to visit a specific river? Yeah. That's awesome, man.
We are. Yep. Yeah.
Nice. I keep saying I got to get down there and do the same thing, man. I got to go back.
Sometime
that
in
was
June.
So awesome. I mean, when Billy and I went there, we had so much fun, and we still laugh about it. I mean, we have so many videos and just laugh. Like it was awesome.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I mean, Lockwood is being in his area, in his local area where it's like, and I think Sean the Fisherman put it the best. Lockwood is the Tony Soprano of Crumpton, Maryland.
Oh, for sure.
100%.
100%.
Like he's on the phone and we're coming back and he's like, listen, you have your people get out of the way and we're going to leave our boats here, but we'll be back. We're only going to go for a cheesesteak or whatever. It's just ridiculous. Unbelievable, man. And then, Lockwood, of course, birthed the story time at the back room of the bait shop segment on this show, which is just, I can't wait to get another one done. I really can't. That's one of my favorite segments. Let's talk about, like, as far as, like, stuff that you have going on. You're saying some events. Hoodlum Fest was amazing. Are you guys starting to lean more into the tournament side of things? Or are you getting more into focusing more on like that, and I don't want to say weekend warrior and make it sound like it's a negative thing, but more that recreational angler, the everyday angler.
I don't think, I don't know. I don't think we're going to touch a tournament thing like our own tournament just yet.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, that was one of Billy's big things, right? Billy was great with all our relationships and things of that nature. And then, we on the back end try to put things together. Mm-hmm. This year, I think we're really going to try to stay with consistency because with these things all take consistency.
Oh yeah.
And pushing out a lot of different things with its apparel or content, all while promoting everybody
Oh, absolutely.
That follows us. So I don't know if we'll touch our own tournament yet. Yep. I do like the weekend stuff, right? Because these guys Andrew will tell you, I get crazy. I'm into detail, and when we put these things on, it consumes me for a couple weeks ahead of time. The whole time we're doing it, so I'm trying to stay stress free.
And then I left. I didn't help out at all at that, so that was hard.
I think Billy was there a little bit. I don't know.
Bill was there for a little bit. Popped in, fished a little. But I did like that. I would like to do something like that again. Oh yeah, man. And the thing is, go ahead, Drew.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, we're gonna focus, I think, more on, making videos of us fishing and interacting, and then maybe more lives, while we're out there, and just being able to interact, because we have such an awesome following that we don't want to lose that aspect of what the Hoodlums is, and
when you take a couple of months off like we did, you have some catch up to do. A couple months in the social media game will ruin you. But, so we got
true.
So we got to catch up with that.
Oh yeah, right. And it's tough, because and the thing that's crazy about content, there really isn't a right way necessarily to do it. You just got to do what's organic to you, and kind of hope for the best, really. Because I feel like anybody who I have had the opportunity to speak with that's had success in terms of creating their own content, they've all said the same thing. You just need to keep going. Whatever it is, try some stuff, and things are going to blow up in your face, and it's not going to necessarily have the return that you're looking at, but you got to know when to jump ship and go back to whatever it is that you're working on. It's nuts. And it's funny, social media is not for everybody. I have a few years over you guys, but even when I hear younger guys like you saying we're not really into the whole social media thing and stuff, and it's these days, there's so much of it is just social media. It's crazy.
Yeah. All of it social media.
It really is.
No one's picking up a paper anymore to see what happened on the water this weekend. It's social media is the way.
And also because we don't have a store.
Yeah.
It's not like people could hang out at the local Hookset Hoodlums shop.
Yeah, it's true.
Really, everything is on social media.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a great store.
Yeah. We had one.
I know, right?
We had one.
What a shame.
What a shame.
I don't know. Those were definitely the days. Although that said, that was a weird time. You know what I mean?
Of course.
It was such a random, crazy time, and I'm glad it happened. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think all of this shit kind of came together because of that. So I'm very glad that it happened. As far as this podcast, fishing in general, I think that 2020, 2021 was great. It was one of the only situations where that was where that was the deal. And I'm thinking that it's just like growing pains. You got to adjust with real life and everything. The brand Hookset Hoodlums is still killing it. I'll be out and people will recognize me because of my Hookset Hoodlums sticker on the back of my truck, shit like that. And it resonates with people all over the place. There was a guy, I was playing trivia. It was somebody Billy knows from forever ago. And he comes up to me and he was like, "Hey, you ever hear of the company Hookset Hoodlums?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm a little familiar, maybe." And he goes, and he I think it was, I don't know who it was. Anyway, I was like, "Hey, let's take a selfie, send it to him." And I think it was Billy, actually. I'm pretty sure it was. And it was just small freaking world. But this also happens in other parts of the country, where you'll see people wearing oh, holy shit, or even online. I'm amazed to find people that are on the West Coast, rocking a Hookset t-shirt or a hat or a sticker on a tackle box or something. It's that's got to be the most amazing feeling for you guys.
It is.
That's exciting. And especially when I'm sending things out.
Yes.
Because I ship everything, and it's oh wow, someone heard from us in, Oklahoma. Oh wow, someone heard from us in, Virginia, and just, everywhere. It's amazing.
Where is the most remote or furthest away place where you guys have shipped?
Well, I set it up to keep it in country first of all,
just
to
domestic.
get crazy.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but we have people send us messages from all over, and I think we actually sent out to Africa once, right?
No shit.
Yeah. Yep. Yes.
We made the exception.
Yeah.
Because it was a military thing.
I was going to say, I'll bet you a lot of that is like servicemen and women that are in different parts of the country that discover the brand and they're like, hey, I want to get such and such piece of apparel. How can I do that? That's freaking cool, man. It is.
So I get a message the other night. This is pretty cool. I get a message and this guy goes, hey, my boss is wearing your stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's cool.
That's
and then
cool.
he sent a link. So I'm like, who's this guy's boss? So I click on it, and right away I notice 158,000 followers in this guy, right? And he's in his truck, and he's singing a Dylan Scott song, and he's got like a lit ceiling with Louis Vuitton the logos all over. I'm like, who is this cat? So I click on him a little bit more. Turns out his name is Mitchell Robinson, and he plays for the New York Knicks.
No shit.
Yeah, one of our hoodies on.
Yeah, I'm going to put it out on our Instagram soon, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's wild, man. I love that shit. That's freaking so cool to hear. There was, the Bassmaster Classic that had just gone by. There was I forget the name that they called it, but it was basically like a teams like challenge that was earlier on, before the Durbin started, where they would pair like sports stars and celebrities with pro anglers, and they would go out, and it was amazing. Some of the names that were popping up on there, like Sydney from Barstool Outdoors, she did pretty well, like top half, like pretty good.
Yeah.
And then there was who else was it? There was another content, a couple of other content creators that were in there, and I feel like they actually did really well. But just the number of sports stars from the NFL or NBA that are that are into fishing, and that's what I keep telling folks. Fishing is so much larger than the tournament scene or even bass fishing, like just fishing in general. Folks can connect on it as long as you're like somewhat open-minded about what you're doing. Like there's so many people fish, and the sheer number of people that share that interest is not everybody, but even though it's, and some people say like, oh, it's a small group of people. Not really. Not when you look at like the globe, I mean,
You see The Rock post pictures all the time.
Oh yeah.
Deion Sanders is always posting pictures fishing.
Yep.
It's just,
Who is that from the Steelers is also like an avid angler. I think, Steve Harvey.
Oh, okay.
Steve Harvey fishes and is a huge bass fishing nerd.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there was
awesome.
Send him a shirt.
Last year there was he should, Steve Harvey should fucking for sure.
Absolutely.
There was like a reel going around or something like that, or of him like catching fish, or like somebody bringing up fishing at a weird time, and he just like ran with the conversation. He's all about it. It's crazy. Some of the people out there that fish and use it as a form of catharsis to disconnect and everything. Shit that all of us do. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I'm stressed out. Yeah, I go and soak a line, and I feel better about life. It doesn't matter what I'm fishing for. It's unbelievable.
It's funny because a lot of times on the walkout, let's say I'm going to go bank fishing, and I'm in a bad mood. That walkout, you feel like $1 million. You got a couple rods, you got your tackle, and you're like, I'm going to crush it. You know what I mean? And then sometimes the walk back is not so much.
Can be a different animal. Yeah, that's a really good point, because on the walkout, you go out with a level of confidence that is just unbelievable, and immediately it changes your mood. And then you come walking back, and maybe it's a little bit humbling, or even better, maybe you killed it. And you're just like, that wasn't that bad. We hooked them. We got them. It was just good. So that's awesome. Let's talk about how we're making things official here with Jigs and Bigs family and Hookset Hoodlums family. Now, I say this all the time, that we've been courting one another for a long time, since the inception of this show. When Bill was he was in one of the top 5 or first 5 episodes that had ever come on. And, we've always been close, obviously with the Old Glory connection, obviously that just, it made things even more concrete. But when I say we're making things official, we're officially bringing Hookset Hoodlums on as Jigs and Bigs partners, which is awesome. This is great, and this is great for the listener. It's great for the brand. It's great for the podcast. It's great for everybody around. And we talk about the partner program a lot. We talk about the people that we work with in the partnership, like Omnia Fishing and Dark Horse Tackle. And we talk about all of our partners. I'll go down the list. We got Abe Lure Lab, Reaction Tackle. We've got, NACO has been kind of skirting around it with the tournament series, like stuff like that. Like, where we're trying to add value to the show with stuff that we genuinely believe in. So when somebody asks me about, hey, I need to get a catch board for the Jigs Bigs, multi-species scavenger hunt, I send them a link immediately going to Omnia because I know that they've got the products. I can check them in stock, and then boom, they've got it right away. And it also helps that I can pass a promo code on to that user if they want to purchase from there and save themselves a little bit of money. That's great. Yep. Folks that are just getting into or looking to get gifts for folks like, oh yeah, what should I get? My friend, or I want to put a box together for a fishing buddy, for his birthday. What should I do? Go to, Dark Horse and do a BYOB. Put together, one of their boxes or something. And when it comes to apparel, like Hookset Hoodlums is more than an apparel company, obviously. But for every year I fish with a Hookset Hoodlums hat. Every year, a brand new, different one that I designate just for fishing. And I'll be damned if it's not a good luck charm for that year. Because there have been days where I've had to wear another hat and it didn't work well. And I'm like, well,
there you go.
Fuck me, right? So it's just one of those things. So bringing you guys into the fold means that there's going to be engagement from the scavenger hunt anglers that are in there. There's going to be folks. Obviously, if there's a drop or anything, there's potential that you guys are going to get some exclusive stuff. Who knows what's going to happen? But Jigs and Bigs is going to be letting you know. You'll be on the inside tip is what's going on. So that's a really, really good thing. Plus, who knows the level of content and the events that we're going to put together. I'm stoked about it, but now it's official. Save the date. Oh, fuck that! It's already on. You're at the party. You're at the party. It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Very
John.
Exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, and 24 is going to be a great year for Hookset. I know that. I also love one of the things I got to give you guys credit for is the diversity of the team. I love that. The fact that you've got folks like, obvious tournament hammers like Ryan Nye that rep Hookset, which is fantastic. But you've also got all types of anglers from all over the place, all different levels with even going outside the realm of bass fishing in some situations, even getting into the world of fly fishing to some level, I think that's really freaking sweet. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it says a lot. And it's like we're all anglers at the end of the day. We all have this this addiction to fishing, whatever it might be. So hey, let's just be this one big support group.
That's where that catchphrase that we always use, one passion, one team, basically comes from, Yep,
100%.
You like to fish, we'll support each other. And that's basically what we're at, what we do.
I think we got to make 2024 the year that we get Post Malone rocking Hookset on stage.
Let's go.
You get him to tattoo it right on his face.
There we go. Yeah.
Has anyone seen him live?
One passion, one team. I feel like somebody has seen him live. Yeah, I can't put my finger on who it is. There was a day, Ken, where I was hosting trivia, and there was a dude at the bar that was a straight up doppelganger for Post Malone. And I took his picture, real quick. I felt like such a creeper. I was but he did. He looked so much like he had face tattoos and stuff, but they weren't the right ones. His mustache didn't look like two Yorkshire Terriers. None of that shit. But I was like, he looked enough like Post Malone. I was like, could it be? No, it clearly wasn't. But
Ken, get down here immediately.
Yeah. He's about to perform, man. It's going to be good. He's about to play Congratulations.
Oh, what a song.
What a song.
Hey, the fishing community is they're going to welcome him because,
for sure.
I mean, let's face it. Country music's kind of, part of the fishing community.
Oh, definitely.
And he's stopping by, boys. He's stopping by.
Yeah, just, squeaking in. We'll see what happens. Yeah. I always get a kick when I hear about musicians specifically that are crazy about fishing. And I had the good fortune this weekend to see, I think, probably the grand poobah of fishing musicians, Les Claypool. from Primus. Yep. Oh yeah, the man. I mean, there's a handful of songs that are about fishing that Primus does, which is just freaking fantastic. So I'm all about it. But then there's other artists out there that fish as well, like Billy Strings. You guys ever listen to Billy Strings?
No, I've heard of him. I know who he is, but no.
Such good stuff.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, unbelievable. Really, really good diverse catalog, like, and just an amazing guitar player. He's been on Tackle Talk a couple of times. When I think of musicians that fish, I want to say, is it Sean knows? Aaron Lewis fishes. Yeah, that's right. Aaron Lewis. Yeah. Local New England guy, you know.
Hey, he moved out of Massachusetts,
yeah,
right?
I think he lives in Tennessee now, and he's a big swim bait guy, apparently. I heard an interview with him on Cast and Crank. And Cast and Crank's a great show. If you guys are looking to like just add another podcast to the mix, Cast and Crank is great. I've been a fan for a hot minute. And it was in that interview was crazy. They recorded on location at a Stained show with Godsmack on stage, like as they were doing it. So like in the background, you can hear like there's like loud music, like, you know, outside of the room where they're recording or whatever. But it's crazy. Like, yeah, I think he purchased a share or like has a stake in, I think it's Leviathan rods. Yeah, he's into it. It's pretty crazy.
Have you heard his new song, Let's Go Fishing?
I fucking hate his music.
Oh, you gotta listen. You gotta listen to that one.
Let's go.
It's
got
political.
A song called Let's Go Fishing.
It's political, so I don't know. Depends on what side you're on, but
I hate Stained too. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, yeah, man.
How do you end this thing?
Hot garbage, man. Just not a fan. To me, it's like it's in that same circle of like Limp Bizkit, where I'm like, I just don't take that seriously.
So I'm not a Limp Bizkit guy, but when I was young, Limp Bizkit came to the New Haven Coliseum.
Oh yeah.
I went down there, and Stained was their opener, and nobody knew who they were.
Oh yeah.
So when I went to the show, and I'm like, these guys are great. Like I could care less about Limp Bizkit next. Like I was a Stained guy from that moment on. I was a kid.
So I remember back in the day, I went to a show in Springfield, Mass, at a club. It was called Macara's, and I went to go see a band called God Lives Underwater. You guys probably don't even fucking remember this shit. Way before your time. God Lives Underwater, like I would say quasi-industrial rock kind of stuff. But really, I at the time, I was like, this is some good shit. I love it. And they were saying, what was it? This was Stained's first all-original show. Because everything, they were primarily known as like covering like Stone Temple Pilots and Pearl Jam and shit like that. A bunch of grunge stuff early on. Which is, I mean, that's how bands work. It's like you pay the bills that way, and then you build your original catalog. It totally, I respect that. And it was their first original show, and I was like, these guys are pretty fucking good. I'm like, this is actually a pretty decent show. Then God Lives Underwater played, and I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that club is no longer there anymore. But yeah, I've never been a fan, you know. I've bumped into Aaron before, like area businesses and stuff like that. And he's a nice enough dude, you know. But he's just not my really.
Yeah, I don't really like him either. I think I've seen him 5 times in the last couple of years. I don't like him too much. Actually, I usually see Billy there. Billy's always there too.
Oh yeah, huge fan. Usually isn't he generally like hawking like the what do you call them, the bootleg T-shirts in the parking lot? Isn't that usually what Billy's doing down there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
That's how he pays the bills.
He spells Lewis the wrong way. It's O-U instead. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah. That's him.
That's how he gets away with it. I love it. So I'm looking forward to this, guys. I think this is going to be a great year. I think the future for Hookset Hoodlums and for Jigs and Bigs together is great. I mean, even separately, it's going to be as great. This is going to be really, really great stuff. Is there anything that folks you think need to know in advance, or any changes that they can be looking forward to, or anything? Catalog still all at hooksethoodlums.com. They can order all the good stuff there.
So yeah, I actually, this is another thing, right? I'm not a website guy.
Yep.
I've never done that before, but I figured it out. So I just went back recently and I kind of revamped the whole website. And one of our things is that I'm big into is promoting the people that promote us.
Yep.
So now it's pretty cool because there's a section on there. It says anglers. So you hit on that and there's probably 75 pictures of people wearing our stuff up there. what I haven't done yet, which I'm going to do, is link all their Instagram accounts to their pictures.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
So that way, when you click on, let's say, Bobby Roast Beef, it'll go to Jigs and Bigs or.
Dude, that is so cool, man.
I don't know what I'm doing. So I have like 12 hours into just editing the photos and putting them up there.
Looks awesome, though.
But I'll get it done. Yeah, I'll get it done.
I'm going to go ahead and move this to a different window here because I'm going to actually share it. So folks that are watching on YouTube can actually see what it is that we're talking about here. So let's go ahead and do this. Anglers.
We also made more user-friendly. So if you're logging on there.
Who's that?
Yep. So if you're logging on there and you want a hat, we put all the hats in one spot now. We just, more user friendly.
That's freaking awesome, man. It's amazing. I love going through here and seeing all these familiar faces.
Yep. That's
freaking so badass. Hey, it's Meg. It is Meg. Oh, that is awesome, man. No, that's really, really good, man. I love that.
So yeah, I mean, just another thing to show off, some people.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's one of the things that Hookset Hoodlums has always been about is you rep our gear, we rep you guys back. And that I think is a big deal for a lot of people. That just that feeling of like, hey, you're supporting me as well. That goes a long, long way. Like it's tough.
Yeah. So that's like you hear it's always trending around, right? Mm-hmm. Pro staff this, pro staff that, pro staffs are junk, yada yada. And there might be some places that are, but it always grinds my gears when I hear it because like I go out of my way to try to make sure I show off or I get people followers or like that's kind of our deal, right?
Yep.
So
yeah,
you buy from us and you put it up there. I'm going to try to give you a little bit of a platform and send the love back to you. That's what we do.
And you guys do a good job of like realizing that in order for there to be growth, there has to be introduction of new folks to the family.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because I mean, it's one thing to just have like that initial circle and like everybody work together, but eventually you're all drinking the same Kool-Aid. You got to throw new stuff in. And that's what I love about you guys. It's constant growth. And I feel like it's more organic than like most other pro staff. So if you were to go and say like look at the pro staff for brand X tungsten or something like that, and you were to there's spots where it's like want to be part of our pro staff, fill out this form, and it seems almost like very impersonal. Like you guys actually go and cherry pick those people who are organically representing the Hookset Hoodlum brand and are offering something a little bit different too. Like you don't have the same version of the same angler always. Right. I think that's awesome. I think that's huge.
Yeah. Do the best we can.
It's all we can do.
If you want to be a pro staff member, reach out.
Yeah. Well, and now are you guys going to be like laying out some different responsibilities for some of the OG folks to keep things going? Because, now you're going from the three of you running this together to now it basically just being the two of you. And I mean, obviously, like Bill has had a lot going on for a little while. So you guys have kind of been operating in this way for a little bit, but coming in so strong, are you looking for any kind of support as far as getting people out there? Or are you set the way you are?
I think we're good. I just want people to realize that we did take a little bit of a break.
Yep.
We're still here. We're going to be pushing hard now. And with the two of us, I think we'll be all right. If Andrew needs to fall off for a little bit, I'll pick it up and vice versa.
Yeah.
With the three of us, communication got lost sometimes, which is natural.
Yeah.
And so
but I mean, one thing that Billy was excellent at was relationships, right?
Oh, yeah.
The best.
I mean, he was unreal. He was always reaching out to people, getting us involved in a lot.
Yep.
So I think now that's just going to be spread out, obviously, between Ken and I. But I mean, we'll be hitting it hard.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it, though. It's going to be, another part of our business that not that we didn't have to worry about, but that we didn't have all of our hands in it.
Yeah.
Now it's like, if I have to reach out to you, it's not an issue. Like I don't have to go through Billy to reach out. It's just going to be
exactly
you and I. It's going to be, and and whoever it is, whoever we reach out to, it's just going to be me or Ken, and that person instead of having to go through all of us.
Yeah, dude, I love it.
I think that's really it.
I do miss him already. I do miss him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's definitely sweet.
Oh yeah, and he is still part of the family. Like he is a pro staff member, and I have a feeling that there are still going to be people that are going to utilize him as a spot to ask questions. And let's be honest, if anybody that's part of the Hookset Hoodlum fam has a wealth of knowledge and you should talk to Ken about this if you have an idea or something like that. Yep. He's a great person to talk to about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like he's disappearing forever.
No,
You can't get rid of Wild Bill Fishing. He's like the herp. He's not going away. You can quiet him down. Yeah, exactly. Every once in a while, you're like, oh, was that itch a flare up? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've known him a long time. I've tried. I sent him off to war one time.
Yeah,
he came back.
The man just can't be stopped. He just can't be stopped. Unbelievable, dudes. Well, this is awesome. Yeah. I'm stoked about things that are going on. Do yourselves a favor, drop all of the socials where folks can be following you. If they're interested in Hookset Hoodlums, anything, if anybody's got any questions or anything, where can folks get in touch with you and order some of this sweet gear?
You find us on hooksethoodlums.com. Instagram is hookset_hoodlums. On our website, we have a contact form you can fill out. You can send us a DM on Instagram.
Sweet.
We also are pretty big on TikTok. By pretty big, I mean that we go on there and check it. On TikTok, it's Hookset Hoodlums. And we have a Facebook account, but I would not go there or leave us a message there right now. That's one of the things we have to figure out. Yep. Last time I was on Facebook, there were 3 buttons. Now I signed back on to look what Billy's been doing, and there's buttons and different parts of Facebook, and I don't know. I'll figure it out.
Facebook's weird. We didn't do a lot with Facebook for a long time.
Right.
And it was just basically like what we would post to Instagram would automatically go over to Facebook. We'd share back and forth. And if somebody, commented or something, if I got a notification, I'd respond to it. And then just like that, 35,000 followers, out of nowhere. So, I mean, it's like a sleeping giant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You really it's crazy. So we've been trying to do more with our Facebook too. And it's just a different sort of platform,
Right.
It really
is.
is.
I just have to learn it like anything else.
Yep.
Yeah, right. Once we figure it out, then, we'll be hot on it.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, that's now, Billy ran it. So, it's just something else that we'll have to, link to our Instagram, and then we'll get everything moving with that.
Definitely. I love it, guys. I love it.
Yeah.
Hey, any possibility that the Hoodlum cast is going to be making a comeback? Or do you think it works better to have Hookset Hoodlums just hack Jigs and Bigs?
Interesting. It's an interesting thought.
Very interesting. I like that.
I like the latter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me too.
Throw that around. It could be a lot of fun. Yeah.
That'd be great.
That would be an interesting. Think of it like we could do it like a show special. Could be kind of fun.
Yeah. Something to think about for sure.
Yeah. I love it, man. Guys, this is awesome. I actually have to record the show this week. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to wrap this sucker up, and I'll go ahead and record that. But this will be on. I'm going to try to crowbar it into this week's show. We'll see how it goes. We're due for another 3+ hour show, so it's a good possibility. Worst case scenario, you guys will be a week from now. We just have to kind of see how the recording process goes with here, and it'll be good stuff. But we are starting to do.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you guys, man. I love you dudes. You're absolutely like the true salt of the earth. Fantastic folks. I'm couldn't be happier that our paths crossed and we ended up where we are right now. Like, I think that this is a great thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm looking forward to it. Awesome, dudes. Well, hey, you guys have a good one. I'm going to go record this sucker, and we will see you with more Jigs and Bigs right after this. Hey guys, Bobby Roast Beef here from Jigs and Bigs. You know, if there's one thing I can't stand spending money on, it's on something that's not versatile, something that I can't get a lot of use out of. I want to talk to you about Frost Buddy. What Frost Buddy is it's one of those can coolers. I've seen these before. In fact, I have some that are limited to only fitting one specific size of can, like a standard 12-ounce can. I stumbled onto Frost Buddy, and I was blown away with it. So versatile. Fits standard cans, tall cans, slim cans, and even 12-ounce bottles. And the magic is the insert fits all of these items in various stages within the insert. And when you take that out, you can fit a full 16-ounce tall boy can. In fact, it even doubles down on being versatile with the coffee lid. And on my recent trip to Chickamauga, I had a field day with this thing. I was throwing beer cans in it. I'd have coffee in the morning. On the drive, I was throwing in all different sizes of cans for different canned coffee products to keep me awake on the long drive back. The thing was amazing. So I recommend you check out Frost Buddy. If you're in the market for either a travel cup for your coffee or a can cooler at all, either one of those, check it out. For the money, you cannot go wrong. What I've done is this. In the show notes for this podcast you're listening to right now, if you look there, you'll find a link to Frost Buddy where you can get yours. And not only can you go and get your Frost Buddy there, but you can help out the show as well. Go and visit that link in the show notes to this podcast. Check out a Frost Buddy. Tons of colors, tons of patterns, all kinds of great stuff. And it's a great spot to put your Jigs and Bigs sticker too. Take it from me, Bobby Roast Beef. You're going to get the most versatility out of this one product, probably out of anything you're ever going to buy, especially for anything that you're drinking. Frost Buddy. It works for me. I'm a happy guy. Everybody, Bobby Roast Beef, another episode, a great interview segment here on Jigs and Bigs. In the beef seat this week, I've got the one and only Ethan Dhuyvetter. You may be familiar with that name under a couple of different monikers. First off, the YouTube channel FishAnything. If you've watched that at all, you definitely know Ethan. He's got lots of information, lots of instruction, and how to, especially in the world of ultralight fishing. But also, Ethan is the owner of Mule Fishing, a very cutting-edge domestic ultralight tackle company with all kinds of great accessories and baits that can help you catch a variety, a virtual buffet of species, to be perfectly honest. Ethan, welcome to the show, buddy. Thanks for being on. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Bobby. I'm in the beef seat, a virtual buffet. I feel like this. I like this already. I'm really enjoying this.
This is a fun show. We like to have fun. We like to call ourselves a fishing entertainment podcast. Like, if you're not entertained, we've not done our job. So we're trying to keep people entertained. And that means sometimes covering fishing adjacent topics. We're going to get to some of those today. But getting into it, you've got a history with fishing. You've been fishing for a long time. You're based in Michigan. And let's be honest. Michigan is one of the fishiest northern areas of the country. In my opinion. Oh, yeah. It's out of this world. So walk us through the story. I'm a sucker for an origin story. How did you get into fishing and the outdoors? What was the path that kind of took you places? I know you've got some tournament experience as well. Touch on that a little bit. Kind of guide us through the extreme 10,000 foot view of your origin story. Okay.
The older I get, the harder this becomes to try to be concise. You know, ask me again in 60 years and I'll just talk for an hour. I first got into fishing when I was in high school. Mm-hmm. When I first started learning how to drive, I grew up in Kansas. My buddies, a lot of us, they lived outside of town. So a lot of them had access to like farm ponds and whatnot. And so we would just kind of get out and go fishing. It was something that I had done a little bit throughout my childhood, but I can't say that it was something that was a huge part of my life. Mm-hmm. And I can't say that my family was super interested in it. I have a couple uncles that were, but really pretty minimal exposure as a kid. And then, you know, the second I'm able to drive a car, all of a sudden, oh man, I caught the bug and I just was addicted. And every single, you know, week passes by and I learned something new. So I got Bassmaster magazine. I was learning from that. I was watching YouTube in the early days. And I just found that I was just wildly addicted to it. So then that transitioned into me fishing some tournaments at the tail end of my high school life, just from the back of a boat. And then eventually I went to college at Kansas State University and I was able to fish competitively in the college fishing scene. So I had, you know, fished out of a friend's boat and then I had bought a boat. And then eventually you get through college, you go on and you get a job, and that job happened to take me to California. So it didn't really make sense to have a boat. So I got into the kayak fishing world a little bit more, and I brought that kayak with me to California, fished a little bit here and there when time allowed, and eventually moved on to Arkansas, moved to Michigan where I am now. And all along the way, I've just been fishing more and more. And as I get further into like my adult life, we'll say, and I've got kids and I've got a job, and then I've got my mule fishing thing, I'd say time continues to be more and more limited. So what I've found is that for me personally, my relationship with fishing has changed a lot. So it used to be, hey, let's go out there for 8-10 hours chasing bass all day long. Now it's like squeeze it in when you can, and let's downsize and downsize and downsize until all of a sudden I'm like addicted to ultralight, and I'm catching so many different species of fish, whether that's bluegill or creek chub or crappie or trout or whatever it may be, or even just, solid bass on ultralight. I've just found this huge addiction for light line and light gear. And that eventually led me to mule fishing, which I'm sure you probably have some questions about, but pretty long-winded answer there. Again, ask me when I'm 70, we'll see what it sounds like.
Oh yeah. No, I love it, man. And that's the thing, like you nailed it. Like you said, traveling and getting to, when you went to California and downsizing, losing the boat, getting into kayak fishing. And, it is interesting because I feel like, our stories are different in a major way. Where you got into it in high school, I really only got into it in my 30s. Like I seriously did. I fished a little bit, like with my family and stuff, and it was fun. And my dad was really big into trout fishing. We would drop live bait most of the time. We do ice fishing maybe once or twice a year or something like that. But it was never really like a passion of mine until we got to current day. Well, not even current day. I think it was about 2013. It was about 10 years ago or so. And I'm in my mid 30s, and I say to my friends all the time, I'm like, yeah, I looked into fishing because I was like, listen, budget's crazy. I was chasing my tail at work, trying to like get ahead. I wasn't making enough to even really support the family fully. I had a side gig going. I'm like, I need a hobby where I can just blow off some steam that's cheap. Hey, let's fish.
100%.
What a ridiculous idea. Because fishing is not necessary. Like you can set your budget, but man, it's a steep hole to fall into. You can really go crazy.
Yeah, I would argue fishing is it's still something that can be very, very cheap. But it's just a matter. For sure.
It depends on
today's
what you want
age,
to do.
though. Yeah, in today's age, and that's something I talk about a lot, actually. And I'm starting to talk about more and more. It's just like we fall into this trap of thinking we need thousands and thousands of dollars worth of gear. And that is not the case for fishing. Like you can take a very simplistic approach and catch more fish than the next guy. And that's kind of what mule's about. And again, we'll kind of get to mule fishing a little bit, but it's about really a simplified approach. And whether you use mule or something else, I guess my point is that, look, I've got a bunch of rods behind me, right? I've got more than I need, but I, kind of do some content. So it kind of makes sense, but
definitely
I'd say if you just want to catch fish, you just need one rod and reel and a handful of gear and you're good. Like you don't have to have $10,000 worth of gear, but I understand why you fell into that trap because I have too.
Yeah. So, I mean, it comes
not
with
judging.
And it's also like, I'm also in my situation, I'm trying to make up for lost time. So I had an opportunity to fish with an absolute hammer in the fly fishing world. Never done it. Absolutely, I'm going to do it. So I'm fishing in the eastern part of Massachusetts with a 17-year-old kid who with like more than like almost my entire life's experience of fishing in fly fishing alone, learning this stuff. I'm getting into BFS now, and and with that comes some like JDM stuff, and which is great. And don't get me wrong, like dude, oh my god. I got to tell you, so like I primarily fish from a kayak and from the bank. I don't have a boat yet, but I'm working on that. We'll figure it out. When I go out, and like I will say this, in the last handful of years, I've learned that lure loss is at its greatest on the bank. 100%. The amount of baits I will break off in the kayak is a fraction of what I'll lose on the bank. But when I'm throwing around like jackal, the micro chatterbaits that are costing me $15 a piece, and I break off 2, I almost break down in tears. I'm like, come on, all right, let's pack it up. Let's move on. So let's dive into mule.
I can resonate with that.
Yeah, I think most anglers probably could. Let's dive into Mule and talk about where did the inspiration to create Mule come from? Was there something that was lacking that you were looking to kind of create, or where did that all come from?
Yeah. I mean, I can talk about it. So when I had moved from California to Arkansas, I started to that's when I kind of started hitting the ground running with content. So making more of the videos, I actually had made videos in high school when YouTube was at its kind of infancy, we'll say, especially with fishing. And I have kind of got this story where basically when I went to college, I guess I was self-conscious about, it wasn't really normal, I guess, to make content back then. So I was like nervous about it. So I kind of dropped away and I stopped doing that. So when I moved to Arkansas, kind of felt that creative gap. I didn't really feel like I had my creative outlet. And that's where I started making more videos. Well, then at that same time, I started getting more and more into ultralight fishing. And my bass experience, I was a big finesse fisherman. I fished the Ned rig a lot. I actually know Ned Katie, and I had fished with him and made a video with him at one point. And so I have a huge like background in finesse bass fishing, specifically with kind of like that Ned rig. And so when it came to ultralight fishing, what I was finding is that there really was not much there. There was stuff that works, and don't get me wrong, there's plenty of brands out there that are great, but I was finding that there was not a jig that I liked. There was a lot of round ball jigs, and a lot of times the hook was oversized, offered in limited colors, generally speaking, just like a round ball, not the type of head design I was looking for. What I really wanted was to replicate more of a Ned rig approach, except for micro, and really open up the doors to new species and more species. And, you think about a bluegill and they have a really small mouth, right? Like even if you catch a nice bluegill, really small mouth, like if there's a round ball 1/8 ounce jig that's got a size, 4 hook or size like a 2 hook, a lot of times it's not quite what you're wanting, I would say, for like those shallow water creeks and a lot of the situations where you find yourself targeting them. And so I started to think about that a lot. And over time I started to decide, you know what, I think I should do this myself. And I looked into it and I started mule fishing with a 1/80th, a 1/64th, and a 1/32 ounce mule jig, which was essentially a micro Ned rig head. It's like a mushroom style head with a keeper designed for multi-species fishing and light line. And then I always knew that it was not going to stop at jig heads. That was just the starting point, and that quickly transitioned into the high durability, high stretch, soft plastics that are in like the micro offerings that we know today. So looking at the website, you would see offerings, but I started with the Donkey Tail and the Donkey Tail Junior, which is basically like a mini swim bait. One's a 2.8 inch and then the other's 1.6 inch. Very intentional in the sense that, small bait fish are pretty commonly consumed by a lot of different species of fish. And I feel like from a versatility standpoint, kind of going back to the simplicity of Mule, like I wanted something that was extremely versatile and it gave anglers options. And for me, the Donkey Tail and the Donkey Tail Junior, you can fish so many different ways for so many different species of fish. And that was always the goal. So that's a little bit about the story. As far as why the name Mule Fishing, I have to tell this. It's simply, I wanted it to have a cool logo, and the logo is actually my grandpa, and it's a picture of my grandpa that I turned into a silhouette. And the reason mule is my grandma and my grandpa have always just really liked mules, and they like horses. And I wanted the brand to be something that's kind of known as something that works really hard for you. Like simple, works hard. And a mule is like a hardworking animal. And again, ties it back to family for me, which is super important. So that's a little bit about it. Yeah.
Really? That's interesting, because I always figured the name Mule was more of like when you catch a big anything and you're like, that thing's a donkey. Like that. And I was like, okay, so the donkey
there
tail.
was that too.
I'm like, that's pretty slick. That's awesome. I didn't know that about the logo. That's amazing. And I love shit like that where the logos tie in to something that's so personal with the owner, or even just like their preferences or what their style. I think that's awesome. Yeah. Man. Good, dude. That's huge.
I've made other businesses have always been kind of a thing for me. Like when I was in high school, I hand poured soft plastics, and I had my own company and I sold them on YouTube. So it was kind of like a little bit of a sneak peek into what the future would be. But And then I had a website for a while that I had, did informative articles on. And so I feel like entrepreneurship is just kind of part of who I am. And in this case, this one was very, very much, I thought about it a lot more. I was a lot more intentional with it because it was so much more important. And I was so much more excited, we'll say.
Yeah.
Because it just felt right. And it has been. It's been extremely, extremely motivating. I'm so excited to see where it goes in the future. But for right now, we're just having fun and catching fish. That's
really the name of the game. So I'm going to tell you a big thing that I got the Mule website up here so that we can kind of go through and take a look at it. One of the reasons why I kind of discovered mule, or I should say how I discovered mule fishing, was a major one was Ramon Outdoors. He is a huge proponent of a lot of your products. The other one being Aggressively Average Anglers. Both Paul and Jeff, actually, when you released that tackle box, the double-sided micro tackle box, I was like, I need this. This makes all the sense in the world, getting into a lot of this lightweight stuff. And, so I got into this through them. But a big reason was I was looking for products so that I could, one of the things with Jigs and Bigs that we do is we organize a nationwide multi-species scavenger hunt tournament. It's an online tournament, CPR, and we've got 22 or 23 different species. That list is going to start to grow more and more, but generally these are like the species that would be most popular around the vast majority of the country so that the majority of folks can compete here. But like if you're in South Florida where you've got really unique ecosystem, it's probably not going to line up. So like you earn a point per species that you get. So we've got, blue cat, bowfin, brook trout, brown trout, bullhead catfish, carp, channel cats, crappie, flatheads, lake trout, largemouth and spotted bass, pike and muskie, pickerel, rainbow trout, rock bass, smallmouth, snakehead, sunfish, tiger trout, walleye and sauger, white perch, and yellow perch. And last year, I found myself taking the early ends of the month, like especially like in the summer, it kind of dawned on me. I would go out and I would throw like a beetle spin. You know what I mean? On my lightest bass rod, it was a 7.3 medium light, and it's great spinning combo. I love that rod. That rod I generally use for drop shot most of the time. But when I was just searching like some of these big grassy flats, and I was up real shallow water looking for rock bass and yellow perch, and targeting areas where I knew that I could find them, where I was actually like literally seeing them, I was throwing these around, and I realized like I'd get a little carpal tunnel holding that spinning rod for the entire day. And just constantly working it. So this is where I got into BFS, just as a way to kind of like guide myself or kind of like, make things a little bit easier for myself. And it works great. And I discovered the Bronco blade. And I think the Bronco blade has been, for me, huge. And I probably shouldn't talk about it the way I do because I enter these tournaments as well. But I'll tell you, it is really nice to have the color options that throws out there, and the ability to pair it with something as heavy as that 1/8 ounce workhorse jig or something as light as a 1/32 ounce mule jig. And it's been awesome. So thank you for that.
I have one right here. That's the exact setup. It's on a BFS. It's sitting right here next to me. So I like that setup, especially for BFS, just kind of like a micro spinnerbait that kind of opens up the doors for numerous species. So I'm happy you're liking it. I appreciate the nice words.
It is really, really fantastic. Between that and just the workhorse jig. And again, I appreciate the workhorse jig in a major way because we're a lead-free state. So I say lead-free state, like there's 6 states. I think last I checked, there were 6 states in the country that had various lead rules that you had to follow. And in Massachusetts, it's a little bit weird. Like you can't have anything under an ounce that's lead, but it's okay if it's got a blade. So like a bladed jig is fine, a spinnerbait is fine, things like that are okay. But if it's a swim jig, I can't use something like that. It's just it's absolutely nuts. So targeting these smaller species and throwing around some tungsten is always a good thing. So I appreciate that. But the tournament, we just kicked off our first month this week. Last Monday kicked it off, our April tournament, and it's been absolutely insane. I'm not at the top of the leaderboard, but I'm definitely not down at the bottom, and most of that comes thanks to mule fishing. So,
Bobby, can you give the folks a reminder on how to get entered into all that?
How to what? What's that?
How to get entered into that, and how to do that
Absolutely.
for the year? Because I personally I would like to know, and I feel like a reminder for some of the listeners would be good too.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. It's so the event, the tournament happens on Fishing Chaos, the Fishing Chaos app. You can just search Jigs and Bigs there, and you'll see the published events will pop up there, and each month they'll show up. It's available at jigsandbigs.com and the tournaments. And if you're on any of our socials, like especially like on Instagram, we have a link tree right over there. Click on that. Perfect. Registration runs, and it's open. Registration will only end on the 8th. We usually give that first week for folks to be able to enter, and we try to do 2 weeks before that month begins. So you have like a 3-week window in total to enter. It's a $30 entry. And it follows a lot. It's kind of modeled a lot off of like some of the KBF rules as far as like measuring fish and all that stuff. Typical CPR stuff. This is a tournament where we're basically trying to educate like folks on how CPR works and all this stuff. So we get a lot of newbies that jump in here, and we appreciate them for doing it because this is a great kind of fun, engaging way to learn how to compete. You know, even if like I don't consider myself a competitive angler at all. I'm a weekend warrior. I like to just go out and have fun. It doesn't matter. But to me, this works on 2 ways. It sort of like gamifies my fishing. So now I'm like, okay, so let me figure out. I'm looking for a bowfin. I've got to find these are the bodies of water, you know, and it's a little bit of detective work that goes on there. But the other end of it, and this is really unique to me, is I feel like this is me being able to actually be fishing and engaging with the listeners of the show, which I think is the best. That's for me. Yeah. That's what it's all about.
I think it's super cool. I'll have to look into it personally. I feel like these days I'm not fishing as much as I want to, but I think things are starting to pick up, thankfully, as we enter spring. But yeah, that's a really cool way. I definitely agree with like gamifying fishing can be a lot of fun. For me personally, it's like I had so much time spent focused heavily on bass that now like a huge focus for me is just becoming the best multi-species fisherman that I can possibly be. And when you allow yourself to kind of go back to your comfort zone, I'm going to go chase bluegill, I'm going to chase crappie. That's fine. And it's really fun. But when you kind of like give yourself a reason to get out of your comfort zone and say, you know, I really want to figure out this yellow perch, or I really want to catch a bowfin, it makes you a better angler as a whole. And in turn, I'm a huge believer that if you understand the entire ecosystem you fish and the different species within it, you will become a better fisherman of any one species.
Oh, I agree.
If you want to be better at bass fishing, you should understand bluegill. You should understand how those shad interact in the water. You should understand the northern pike or the perch or whatever you may have in your local waters. I think understanding the entire environment and the ecosystem positions you so much better for any one species.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. And one of the things that I love, and maybe it's a little sadistic on my part, but we have a guy who's competed now for like this, I think all of last year, and he's still into it now. And he likes to say all the time, he goes, there is nothing more entertaining than when you get to that last week of the month and you're like, I need a rock bass so bad. I need a rock bass. I'm missing this point. I'll give you a little bit of a story. There was an instance where myself and we just had one of our co-hosts had just left the show, Sean the Fisherman, great dude, educated me so much, and a lot of our listeners too. He brought a ton of experience to the show. This was in the last September. I think it was September's tournament, and we both needed a crappie. And crappie for me have always been one of those species that were absolutely bycatch. I would catch them, but it was in the weirdest situation, and it was totally random. And I was just like, oh, there was a crappie there. Yay. He has a little bit of a different situation. He's got all this experience. So he's like, I know that there's this good population here, and here. Hey, why don't we go and fish at this spot? I said, that's a great idea. So we had different ideas. He had some history, spots he wanted to hit, and then he wanted to go back to the south end of the pond. I said, I'm going to start right at the ramp, and I'm going to go along the west end, and I'm going to or the eastern end, and I'm just going to go around that side and work the bank all the way. And I was just going through bluegill. I'd catch the occasional rainbow trout. I'd catch a chain pickerel here and there, a bunch of dink bass. throwing super finesse. And this is when, like, that carpal tunnel, I'm like, okay, I got to look into one of these BFS combos. I just have to take the leap. So I'm making my way around it. We cross about a little, like, I made some pretty good time getting down the bank, and we cross at one point. I'm like, how's it going? He says, oh, nothing yet. He's like, just a bunch of like dink bass. And I was like, oh, I'm catching a bunch of bluegill. I'm just filtering through them till I get one. He says, all right, cool. So we go along our way and everything's good. I'm fishing this edge of lily pads that come out off of these docks. There's a few houses there, and I'm right at the edge, and I'm just running this little beetle spin outside, and it just gets hammered. I'm like, all right, cool. What do we have? It was a black crappie. I'm like, this is beautiful. Nice. I snap my photo. Everything's good. As Bobby Roast Beef likes to do after I measure my fish, put it back in the net, and then I'll take it back out and take a selfie with it so that I can use it for Instagram or whatever. I go and I text Sean, and I text him that selfie, and I hear in the background, you whore! Like, he's all the way down the other end. He's just like, oh, and it's just great because that like little internal competition between buddies, it's just unbelievable. We had such a good time with it. Yeah, man, it is.
So did he ever catch one? So you won.
Not that one.
You beat him.
With that one, I did. I've lost way more times than I've won, so I got to relish those moments.
Well, there you go. Yeah, you darn right you do.
For sure. It's the little wins, but it was a good one. And it's true. It's like you get to that last end of the month, and you're like, wow, I've really neglected. I gotta track down a yellow perch. I've got to figure this out, and I have learned also to just fish. But my strategy that I've brought to, and I even said this morning, I went live kind of hyping up this interview. I went live on Instagram, and I was just like, when I go out and I'm fishing, one of the things that Sean specifically had sort of instilled in me was just don't plan so much. There's some things you do kind of need to plan for. Like if I'm going to go out and target carp, it's a different thing. Same thing,
for sure.
Like you can catch those fish on the most random things, but he goes, by and large, just go fishing and do what it is that you do, and what I've noticed is if I just take and spend time looking at the bodies of water, figuring out what the fish population is actually like, and then I go and take the methods that I like to fish, those presentations, but maybe just downsize them a bit, it opens up the diversity that I'll be catching. Like I've been catching trout on swim baits like you would not believe. Like
that is
little swim
I've
baits.
Done that before, actually. Yeah,
it's
like
fun.
Yeah, that is fun. No, I totally agree with all that. I doing the whole YouTube thing, I think depending on where you're at with it, like people kind of, sometimes ask about making videos and that sort of thing. And I think it's great. Like if you need a creative outlet and you want to do it, that's great. But for me, I think when it comes to YouTube, it's like you find yourself early on putting a lot of pressure on what you're doing,
Definitely.
And for you try to think like, oh, well, what do I want to video or what video do I want to make? And I still do this, right? Like I'm guilty, but at the same time, what I've found is that it's not very fun to make videos if you put too much pressure on doing a specific thing. It's a lot more fun to make videos when you just kind of embrace what's going to happen and just go fishing. And the same thing I would say applies to tournament fishing. Like anytime I put a ton of pressure on myself, I talked to John Dalton at Creek Fishing Adventures about this the other day. It's like you put a bunch of pressure on yourself going into a tournament, it usually does not end super well, I would say. When you go out there and you just have an open mind and you just go fishing, that is when I perform my best. And again, it's easier said than done.
For sure.
But I would just say, when it comes to fishing, just focus on just enjoying it and embracing what happens. And usually things go pretty smooth.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. And that's the thing. A lot of, I would say the majority of it is mental. Once you kind of unlock that and you're not in your own head, it's crazy. I had a situation, I was just talking about this. There were two different trips, one in the spring and then one in the fall. Both days were just windy as hell. The day in the spring, I embraced it. I just fished it. I dealt with the situation. I actually had a really great day. The time in the fall was a different animal. I was too much in my own head. I wasn't thinking clearly, and I fished like garbage. I think I got and this is no BS, man. I think that day I got over 50 bites, but I landed 0 fish. It was ridiculous. There was a
That's
point.
Wild.
Yeah. Oh, it was terrible. I almost sold the kayak right there. Everything must go. Take it,
That's a tough one. I don't know that I've ever had that many bites and catches. So you know what? That's a record though. Like you should probably go down in history for the worst
fisherman. Yeah, 100%. I was surrounded because it was a big like camp out, like a bunch of us all on one lake. And my buddy, my co-host Joe, has got a really nice skeeter, and him and his wife are on his boat. I'm in the kayak, and like these are like 25 mile an hour like winds. It was ridiculously bad.
That's brutal.
And, I'm trying to make the best of it. And I couldn't downsize enough because it was deep and I could only cast so far with these light lures. But again, I was in one of these tournaments and I needed to catch a lot of like random species. So I'd come up on a bunch of yellow perch and I just couldn't get them to bite, or I would get them to bite, but they just wouldn't get the hook. The next day, totally different situation. Totally different situation.
Tough,
the next day, I think I put like 60 in the boat.
Wind is not fun.
No, not in the kayak.
Yeah, wind can be a real pain in the butt. In a kayak, but then also like light gear. So you pair those two things together, plus the pressure. It's like, I can understand it, but I still think it's funny, and I think you should always reflect on that that moment.
It could be, if nothing else, if I would have just applied myself the way that I did when I was in Maine in the spring, dealing with similar wind conditions, it could have been a whole other ball game. It definitely would have been a different situation.
Live and you learn.
Yeah, that's exactly
That's what it's all about. Getting better every trip.
It was just wild. So let's talk now you like to fish multi-species. Do you have a favorite? Or actually even better, what's your top 3 or even top 5?
My favorite fish tend to change throughout my life. I feel like I don't have something. It's just like, hey, this is the best. I think it would be hard for me to argue that a smallmouth is that's got to be up there.
Yep.
I say that, but I don't target them as much as I should. And that's just because I just kind of go with the flow and I follow my heart and I fish for whatever I want to fish for.
Oh, yeah.
So I would just say like right now, I think crappie are really high on my list. I just think they're really, and eventually I may get burnt out on that a little bit, but they're really high on my list because they're just, the way you catch them is so fun. The way they bite is so fun. They suspend, they group up, and with light gear, it can just be such a blast to kind of watch that line drifting through the water and then just see it pop and then set the hook. It's just a very unique for me. And growing up, I crappie fished a little bit, but I can't say that it was a huge thing for me. Yep. So right now, that's a big one. And then just sunfish in general, whether that's a bluegill or like a green sunfish or pumpkin seed, they're all just so wonderful. Like if you're just wanting to catch fish and you've got 30 minutes and grab some 2-pound test or 6-pound braid or whatever it may be, and just get out there and toss around a little 1/64 ounce jig and you'll have all the fun in the world. So long-winded way of saying, I don't have a favorite fish. Yeah. I just like catching them.
That's fair, man. I there are days where I'll be just catching bluegill like all over the place, and I'll almost catch myself just like snapping a picture of every cool pattern that I see, and I'm like, this is great all on its own. But then again, if I sink a hook into a bowfin, I mean, it doesn't. I don't think it gets any better than that, man. They're so fun.
I could see, like, I need to catch them more. Like I've caught a few bowfin in my life, and I think I caught one last year. But I can't say I've found a lot of areas that have a lot of them, but I see them from time to time, and they are such a neat species. And some people don't like them, which is crazy because they're literally, like, if you think about it, like just like that prehistoric, they've been around for a long time and just a very interesting species. They fight hard. They're mean. Like they're just a cool fish.
Yeah.
They are wild. Like, and the males like protecting the spawn and getting all green colored. Like it's just a very unique fish.
Cool to see.
So,
yeah,
it's
absolutely
awesome.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. Now, one of the things that I ask all my guests, and this is what I was getting at with like fishing adjacent stuff. So
sure,
my favorite way to go and fish is I love the morning bite. Get out at dawn. Get out when sun is up. And you get that transition, and right before the heat of the day, like especially in the summer, that's a good day to just call it and go grab either a late breakfast or an early lunch. And some of the, whether it's a great day on the water and you're kind of celebrating that great day, or you're getting off the water and you're like, I just need to punish myself with some food that's absolutely terrible for me.
Oh yeah.
We've all been there. What's your go-to spot, like a mom and pop spot in your area where you're just like, yeah, this is what needs to happen?
So I'm gonna be honest with you. I really don't eat out after fishing very often because I want to get home. But what I do, so I'll give you some spots. But my bigger thing is I get home and I grill out a lot of times in the summer because I've got a trigger, and like a lot of times what I'll do is I'll plan ahead and just kind of have a bunch of like, whether it's, chicken marinating or just like plan on doing burgers or whatever, but just I'll make a bunch of meat and crack into like an IPA after a long day of fishing.
Yeah.
And like I provide dinner for my family. I get to enjoy a nice cold beer after fishing. And that is like the perfect day for me. Like to be able to go fishing, spend time with my family, have a nice meal, have a cold beer.
That's a home run.
Yeah. So other than that, though, I mean, like, I'm not going to lie. I kind of have a sweet spot in my heart for like McDonald's.
You're not the first person to say that. You're really not the first person to say that. It's crazy. Some people have been like, dude, I will go and throw down, a 10-piece nugget and a Big Mac and, hey, life is good. And I'm like, all right.
It's like breakfast though. McDonald's breakfast, like on the way to the boat ramp. If you're like, shoot, I didn't get a chance to eat anything, and you like get a iced coffee, like just a tall iced coffee and like a couple of breakfast sandwiches, man, like you get to the ramp, you're like, all right. And then your stomach hurts in about an hour.
Oh yeah. You're like, oh yeah, it's bad news.
You're like, uh-oh.
Yeah, that can always be a bad move.
It bite you. Yeah,
it really can. Oh God, that's rough. So let's talk a little bit of BFS, because I've seen you dabble a little bit.
Yeah.
What's your take on it? Are you what do you think about these folks like Jeff and Paul from Aggressively Average Anglers that are in their comment section saying that BFS means big freaking scam? What do you think about BFS fishing?
Oh, I don't know. I guess for me, I have an article about this. I have a website, just FishAnything.com, and there's an article. You'll find it pretty easily. It's just, do you need BFS or something like that?
Yeah.
And basically, I'm very in the middle on it, and I'll elaborate. I think BFS is a really cool thing. And I think it's very niche though. I don't think it's something that's practical and necessary for a lot of anglers. I think it's something that is great for certain types of fishing and certain anglers. So like for you, for example, if you have if the spinning rod and reel is like uncomfortable for you, and you just find that it's more comfortable and fishable and enjoyable, and and it's like your wrist is more comfortable, then that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
But like from a practical standpoint, if you do just fine with a spinning rod, a lot of times there's not like a big use case difference.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it's like, it kind of goes back to consumerism and people feeling a need to buy way more than they need a lot of times.
Yep.
So I don't need a BFS setup at all. I have a BFS reel and a couple rods for it solely because it's fun and it's kind of another way of doing this. And I make videos, so I happen to have there's a little bit of a reason to have more gear. But I don't need it. Like I could get rid of it tomorrow and it wouldn't necessarily change anything for me. So, again, another long-winded answer, and it doesn't really tell you, but I think ultimately it's a choice that you need to make for yourself, and don't worry about other people's perspectives, because if you enjoy it, do it.
That's exactly what it comes down to. It's like, I think the argument that a lot of folks make is they're just like, well, I could do everything with a BFS with a spinning combo. And yes, absolutely you can. But at the same time, like it is a lot of fun. There are folks who avoid fishing finesse because they feel as if they need to utilize a bait caster. Like somehow that's like and I'm not into that. Like it's not a measuring contest or anything.
Yeah, I'll tell you two things that I think I just from if you really want a more of a use case for it, and where it actually is better than a spinning. The first thing that it's better than a spinning with proficiency, if you're good with it. And I should clarify, because BFS is not an easy thing necessarily, depending on your relationship with it. But trout fishing in streams, or stream fishing in general, where there's a lot of overhanging brush and you need to land your lure softly, but you also have to use a lighter lure. you're not going to be able to get away with a traditional casting reel because that's not built for lighter lures. A spinning rod and reel, you open the bail, you cast, and that line is free flowing out of the spool. You do not have a great way of slowing it down to create a soft landing and pinpoint accuracy. With a good, with a lot of experience, you can be pretty good with spinning rod and reel, but with a lot of experience with a BFS, you can be cleaner 100%.
Oh
like
my
you can
God. Yeah.
get that 1/16 ounce jig up against a tree and land it so softly, and that trout doesn't spook and you catch it. So there's benefits. There's some casting efficiency, hitting the reel, as opposed to closing the bail. So there are benefits, but those are very niche, like I mentioned. Yeah. The other thing that I kind of like it for, like personally, is like, think about your typical power bass fishing applications, your jigs, your spinnerbaits, crankbaits, that type of thing.
Yep.
But then micro it. And it's like, for me, the ability to palm a reel as opposed to hold a spinning reel beneath a rod.
Yes.
There's a comfort there. There's a leverage point there. And so, like, for me, if I'm using like my Bronco blade, like you mentioned, like I kind of like it on a BFS because it feels a little bit more comfortable for me.
Yeah.
Versus cranking a spinning reel, if that makes sense.
No, it definitely makes sense. I agree. I also feel like there's an efficiency standpoint too when it comes to BFS, because you're able to, and there is a learning curve. Like, I mean, I still will get backlashes, all the time. I will say they come out way easier with the finer line than most of the other stuff. But, it's just a flick of the wrist and you're able to, drop a jig or a presentation in whatever spot in much, much easier. But let's say you blow a cast up, you reel back in and it's just the mechanics. You're able to get more casts in that amount of time. It's a really, really good thing.
It's more efficient if you don't backlash and spend an hour trying to clear it.
That's exactly it. I've yet to have to spend more than like 10 seconds, like just getting, pulling some line out.
There you go.
So we're getting there. But it's funny. I was fishing with a friend of mine, fishing with Becca. And we went out, we decided, we're like, hey, first day of the scavenger hunt, let's go and do this. She's never done anything like this before. So I was like, I'll have my catch board. You can use that. We just did a banks end. And we fished 2 bodies of water, and I caught at the time. Yeah, no, it still is. It's the biggest fish that I've caught on my BFS combo. 10-pound test braid to a 4-pound leader, and it was a fat 14-inch largemouth, like swallowed a tennis ball fat. It's huge.
Yeah.
And I take this fish, and I had to, where we're fishing was near a dam with a guardrail around it. So I had to boat flip this fish up like 7 feet. So I reel down to it and I flip it. She was amazed. So I take the fish and I walk over to where I've got the board. I'm taking the measurement. She grabs a BFS reel and takes a couple of casts and just line everywhere. And I told her, I was like, there's definitely like a learning curve. It took her like 10. I mean, she's a pro. It took her like 2 casts, and then she had it down. She's like, I can see where this would be a lot of fun. And I was like, for me, it's like that one rod moving presentation. Like, I'm going to bring that. If I'm going to drag, like, I'll throw a jig on it. Like, I really, really like Kitech makes these small
the mono
jigs.
jig.
Yep, that's the one.
Mono spinning jig. Yeah, I've literally got one rigged up with a burrow bug, like a mule fishing burrow bug. Yeah,
I got my hands on some burrow bugs. Ramon gave me a pack, and dude, they're just awesome.
So if you like that jig, pair it together. It is like it's just like a perfect little micro craw presentation. That is the kind of thing. Like, if you look at the website I was telling you, like the FishAnything.com, that BFS article, that is like the thumbnail. That jig on a BFS is like, that's just fun. It's just a fun way to fish.
It's freaking unbelievable. I love it, dude. And I think that a lot of people get, like, I can remember it must have been like the early to mid 90s. There was a time where every single person that I knew that was into fishing, they were like, oh, you got to get an ultralight rod. You got to get an ultralight rod. You got to, have you caught a brook trout on an ultralight? It is out of this world. You got to do it. And everybody I knew with a truck had like a 5'4" Shakespeare ultralight in the back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong. It's super fun. But when you really look into the ultralight world of what's truly out there, like, it's mind-blowing. And, light tackle is just a blast. I don't think that's something anybody can argue, and it is nice to catch more fish. It really is. Yeah. It's great to catch giants, but
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I am among. I probably have tested as many ultralight rods as anyone. Probably could be wrong. There's probably some other crazy people out there too, but.
We lost you for a second.
Froze for a second.
Yeah, we lost you for a second. What was that? You said you probably were the one who had probably tested most ultralight rods.
Okay, hold on. Okay. Yeah, sorry for the technical difficulties.
No worries.
I don't know what happened, but I would say I would be willing to bet that I am among the community of people that have tested the most ultralight rods, and definitely on YouTube. So,
for sure.
There is a big ultralight equipment out there. And to your point, it's been around for a long time, but I think it's blowing up right now. Like, I think it's getting bigger. I think there's a new move into it. And that's where it's like BFS is becoming a thing and becoming a big thing, we'll say. There's a desire to fish and just have a relationship with fishing outside of just I'm chasing a bass on a big jig, you know? So that's exciting to me because that's certainly how I feel about fishing. And I'm glad that there's others out there like me.
No, I love that, man. I think it's great. I need 2 stories from you before we wrap. We ask every single guest this. 2 stories. One of them being like that story you would lead with if you were at an event, like a wedding or something, and someone was like, "Oh, Ethan, I heard you fish a little bit." The one you're going to be like, "I got to tell you about this one time." And then I need the one where it's the biggest, like the epic fail.
That was great. Okay, you ready? All right.
Ready.
So I think the story I have found myself telling more often than any other, just like, "Oh, I like to fish," and I got it partially on video a couple of years ago. It's not like the best footage, but I was just wade fishing for smallmouth, actually using a BFS rod and reel. And I was reeling in maybe like a 12-inch smallmouth. Well, I got that fish pretty close to me. All of a sudden, a muskie comes up, chomps the smallmouth, and is like holding on. And I'm like fighting the muskie, but solely just because he's holding on to the smallmouth. Eventually, he's like, "It's not worth it." And he sticks it up. But I reel in the smallmouth, and it's just sad. It's just like, ooh, this fish just got shredded. Like, and he's got like teeth marks.
That's
huge muskie. So like my heart was thumping. I've never caught a muskie before. The day will come. I haven't put I haven't put any effort into it at this point, but I can understand why people do it because holy smokes, what a crazy creature.
They're exhilarating, like big pike and muskie.
Crazy.
Yeah, they'll get your blood pumping, like for sure. I had my very first encounter with a big pike last summer, and it was like doing heroin for the first time. Like, I just need to go and get this again. Yeah, I mean, some of it, I'm making that association. Neither have I, but it was like, I'm just like,
no idea if that's the same at all.
I need to go and have this experience again. That was off. I was like, oh, this is what Artie Lang's been talking about. Okay.
So what was the other question? I can't remember. I'm sorry. You got me really thrown off there.
Oh, it's all. I have that tendency. It's
that's okay.
The biggest epic fail, like where it all
that's
went
right.
to
The big funny. The sound effect. Man, it's funny. It's like, it's sad that I can't think of it because I'm sure I've got 1,000 epic fails. Oh, what's a good one is, and I haven't thought about this in some time. This was probably 10 years ago now. I was in college with my buddy, and we were college. We had a tournament, Kansas State. We were fishing against our team, right? So we do qualifiers among our team.
All right.
So in this case, we were fishing in the fall, so doing one of our club qualifiers, so trying to compete for points and eventually go on and fish regional events and all that. Well, we started the morning off, and it was a smallmouth lake, and we caught a couple keepers. Well, I was throwing a topwater on my topwater rod.
Yep.
And I caught a fish. We netted it, got it into the live well. I set my rod down, but was in the kind of like that, just down where you kind of sit and all that. And the rod was up against a seat. Well, I don't know if we kind of took a turn or a wind blew or what, but I sat just snapped my rod with my bum, and was out my topwater rod for the rest of the day, and it was fine. I was able to just kind of use a different rod, but it was a bummer because that that rod was actually quite special to me because that was like the first bait casting rod. It wasn't, but it was my first like one where I spent like $100 on it, and at that time, you know, my relationship with him, I was cheap, and I worked since I was 14. Like I've always like had a little bit of money to spend on fishing, but $100 rod for me at that point in my life was super special.
Deal. Yeah.
It was a huge deal. And it was like, it was Bella's rod, but I actually really loved it. And it was like meaningful to me. And to snap it with my booty, man, what a fail. It made me sad. I'm actually glad you asked that question because I have not thought about that in a while. It's kind of funny.
That is rough. Yeah, we hear a lot about like lost fish. Like, you know, oh yeah, I was going to net this fish for my buddy at this specific. I remember this story specifically about like a bachelor party. They all went fishing, and like this one dude had this huge pike on, and the guy I was interviewing was like, yeah, I went to go net him, and I completely flubbed it, and it was like a 40-inch pike, and just took off, and it was the groom, and he was just like, I am so sorry, dude. And so we hear a lot about that stuff, like broken rods. That can crush you, especially like if it's a presentation where it's like, oh, it was really kind of popping off with that one presentation. I gotta make it work now. That's rough. Yeah.
Well, I haven't broke as many rods as you would expect, but that was definitely one that. So, anyways,
yeah, that's not too bad. I've only ever broken one rod. I set the hook on the biggest stump you've ever seen, and I absolutely cracked this Okuma rod. I mean, I was trying to boat flip this stump. It seemed like it was just bad. This is the worst fishing day ever. Probably the biggest fishing fail ever. I almost killed my friend and I. We're out. We rented a boat in this giant reservoir. And, you know, we had breakfast early. Mistakes were made. I had to go back to the ramp to handle some business. And I'm zooming back, and I lost control of what I was doing. And the rudder kicks off to the side, and the front of the boat goes way up. We almost landed in like 40-something degree water. It was bad. I happened to reach up. I had water I was wearing my glasses at the time. I had water right across this lens, and I was like, what? I reach over, and I happen to feel the choke, and I grab it. Kills the motor, puts us right down. Luckiest shit ever.
That sounds scary.
Luckiest shit ever. The video's on our Patreon. Like well, I didn't record the video of it happening, but I did record afterwards because I can't believe after that happened that after we got back to the ramp, he wanted to go back out. I was like, are you sure? He's like, oh yeah.
Maybe I'll drive this.
That's it. I told him, I was like, you want to drive? He's like, no. You go ahead. You got this. I was like, okay, I suppose.
Yeah, you'll just be idling around. Just like that shaking.
Was pretty much it. Like, oh man, it was ridiculous. It was frightening, man.
Yeah.
Ethan, this was fantastic, dude. I appreciate you coming on the show, sharing your stories, talking about Mule, talking about FishAnything. Do yourself a huge favor and promote yourself a little bit. Let folks know where they can follow up with you if they have any other questions, the way to get in touch with you, all that stuff.
Thanks for your time, and thanks for having. So FishAnything, just at FishAnything. I'm on YouTube is really where I spend a lot of my time, and that's kind of my main focus. But on Instagram, like specific questions, recommendations, feedback, you can absolutely DM me. I think I do a pretty darn good job of getting back to anyone that was to reach out. So never out. And then as far as mule fishing goes, that's just mulefishing.com, just MULE at fishing.com. I certainly appreciate it. Does a lot. It's kind of a side hustle for me, but I really do it. I feel like people catch a lot of fish on it, and it seems like everybody's liking it. So, more to come. We'll see what happens in the future. But thanks again for the time today.
Dude, that is awesome, man. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Definitely stay in touch. And do me a favor, if you could. If you have a picture of you just holding an absolute giant of any species, send it over to me because we'll use it for the artwork for this episode.
Perfect.
Awesome, dude. Appreciate you, man. Keep making some really, really great stuff because I'm going to be putting in an order soon. I break off every once in a while. It needs to happen.
Sounds like a deal.
I love it. Thank you, Ethan. Have a great one, dude.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Bye-bye. It is is not very often where we record a program and I do it in one beer. Like, it is not every day kind of situation. And it's also, I should say, it's kind of, I think, a little ceremonial, the fact that we're doing this episode and I'm drinking a Two Roads Brewing Too Juicy. You might notice at the top it says, keep it juicy. That's, by the way, my motto in life, keep it juicy. No, and it's a Connecticut brewery. We just announced the launch with our partnership with Hookset Hoodlums. It's like everything, it's all meant to be. Everything's coming together. We're about to kick off week number 2 of the Jigs and Bigs nationwide multi-species tournament, Scavenger Hunt Series. Everything is right in the world. It's fucking April, guys. It'd be great if I was going to New Orleans like I planned on. You know, it'd be great, but I do have a backup plan. I'm going to be fucking sending it. And I'm going to be sending it local, but I'm putting some time up the shears. Get ready.
Oh, perfect.
Get ready, man. We should start planning a trip, Joe. Where do you want to go?
Are you coming up to the St. Lawrence in June?
Oh, you're going in June? Let me know.
The one with Taylor. No, Taylor
that's
talked
right.
to you about
That's right. I got that. Let me double check the dates. I got to go back to that message because if so, I'd love to. I'd freaking love to. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
That would be the shit. I was just talking with Chris. He actually called me. This is why I love eBay. Two things. First off, I don't know if you were in the Dark Horse Tackle Discord this weekend, but before the show started, I was selecting the colors of my baits, including the fucking amazing crankbait from eBay Lure Lab that's in this. Oh, my God. I went dirty perch because let's be honest.
I am a dirty perch.
You know what I mean? I had to go dirty perch. There's some great stuff. There's great stuff from Martin's in this box. Like this. I'm stoked about this box. So I had gotten a phone call on Friday from Chris, just checking in, and we're talking. And I'm like, yeah, I gotta make it happen. Yeah, I forgot that was going on. I'm a fucking mess. I'm a mess. I gotta get my shit together.
They hooked us up with their Airbnb and the hotel for that week.
Shit, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm going to have to make that happen. And yeah, I'm going to go through, after we wrap this up, I'm going to go through and track down those dates and then AB it up against my calendar. Yeah, I should be okay. I should be all right.
Yeah, I think Josh Cody is going to come up. I think he's going to meet us up there. Yeah, get another boat out there, and
nice.
It's going to be a blast.
Sweet, dude. That's freaking awesome, man. This will be good stuff. I love it. Guys, this was an amazing episode. It was awesome to finally talk with Ethan. I've been watching his YouTube stuff for quite some time. I've been using his baits this year. I am a big proponent of the donkey tail and the workhorse jig and that Bronco blade, man. I'm telling you, with the ability to swap out the available colors that they've got for the Bronco blade, like you can't go wrong. And then that little craw is just fucking fire. Like all I need is the water temps here to get up just a little bit more, and then I'm going to make it happen. It's game on.
Yep.
Yeah, it's good. I should also say every single fish I submitted for this tournament, BFS. Every single one.
Look at you.
It's just a good feeling, It's just a good goddamn feeling. There's going to be some stuff that I'm not for sure. I'm definitely not throwing for BFS. Like I'm not going to try and target pike. Or, it's 4 pound leader, man. I'm not about to fool around with that.
Right.
Yeah, we'll go ahead. We'll do some shit. But I'm looking forward to it. I got some work to do on the trailer. I gotta send it. I'm trying to figure out 4 days this week to make it work. Around that rain is gonna suck. But I think tomorrow's gonna be a trip. I think Tuesday is gonna be a trip. I did get an invite to tag along in Connecticut. Possibly Monday or Tuesday. I got to see if I can make it work with getting back in time to handle my regular duties. But and then you got your derb on what, Saturday?
Yeah.
Nice. Yep. Beautiful.
Saturday.
Freaking going to be awesome. It's just kicking off the 24 season. I love it. So with all that said, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap this sucker up. Some of you guys are out there catching some fish, and you are, if you're not submitted in the Scavenger Hunt series where I'm seeing all of them, you're tagging us on Instagram with these catches, and I am here for it. Thank you. keep doing so because we're going to go ahead. We're going to keep liking, sharing, saving, and all that stuff to try to help you guys get more visibility. And also, we like to just know that the folks that listen to this show are out there getting on them. It means the world to me. It really does. So with all that said, on behalf of Who the Fuck is Joe Brown and myself, Bobby Roast Beef, you guys have yourself a fantastic week. We'll see you back here in 7 days. We got much more good stuff coming up. I'm working on a handful of really great interviews. We got more guest hosts lined up, and it's just going to be absolutely awesome. Should this little send in June work out up in A-Bay, that's going to be one hell of a show that we're just going to have to do a big round table for. I think it's going to be a blast.
Yep, that'll be awesome.
Live stream that shit. It's going to be good stuff, but man, it's awesome. Thanks to all of our jig heads for just hanging out with us and being part of the show. You guys are absolutely awesome. Big shout out to all 34 of you that are entered in the nationwide Scavenger Hunt Series. It's just getting started and it's going to get really good. We will see you guys in 7 days. More Jigs and Bigs goodness. Like we always say,
Tits and ass, smoke some grass.